Deputy Speaker.
Blessed good afternoon, honorable members, and those under the sound of my voice. For the next several sessions of our Moments of Impact devotional time together, I want to shift just a little our format. I've been led to share with you some leadership principles to help build and strengthen your leadership capacity. So I'm extremely passionate about the subject of leadership because of a powerful principle I've learned several years ago by a leadership guru by the name of John Maxwell that simply says, everything rises and falls on leadership. So bear with me. Today, we'll begin part 1 of a 7-part series, leadership, entitled Transformational Leadership. So I want to begin today by defining what is transformational leadership. Transformational leadership is a leadership style that aims to encourage, empower, and motivate team members to maximize their potential, go the extra mile, and achieve greatness. Transformational leadership inspires and galvanizes vision runners and paves the way for success. Transformational leadership is one of the most effective 21st century leadership styles because of the times we're living in. I think we all would agree the times we're living in is ever changing. You don't have to look far. Change is happening all around us. COVID-19 taught us some invaluable lessons about change. Here are a few. Change can take place overnight. Change doesn't give warning. Change doesn't wait for you to get ready. None of us are exempt from experiencing change. And finally, how you handle change will determine whether or not you survive or thrive. As 21st century leaders, we must not shun change. Instead, we must adapt to change. Most times, change comes to bring progress and forward movement. Change sometimes comes to get rid of the old and usher in the new. The point I want to drive home today is leading in the midst of change requires transformational leadership. I leave you today with 3 non-negotiable traits that every transformational leader should possess. Number 1, transformational leaders are responsible. They don't pass the buck or make excuses. They take responsibility for their actions and the actions of their team. Number 2, transformational leaders take initiative. They don't watch things happen, they make things happen. Transformational leaders are very action-oriented. They talk less and do more. Finally, transformational leaders take ownership. You will never take responsibility for what you don't own, and you will never own what you don't believe in or value. Selah. Think and act on these things. Let us pray. Our gracious and loving Father, we praise and exalt your name today. We acknowledge your sovereignty in all that you've done for us. We acknowledge today that all power belongs to you. We will never cease, Almighty God, to acknowledge and call upon your name for help. Like the psalmist declares, we will lift up our eyes unto the hills, from whence cometh our help. For our help cometh from the Lord, which made the heaven and the earth. O Lord, today we pause one more time as a nation and asking you, Almighty God, to help us through the changing scenes of life. Help us not to just survive the change, but help us to thrive within the change. We pray now today, Lord, for our political leaders. We ask, Almighty God, that they will be transformational in their thinking and their modus operandi. Oh, Lord, fill their minds with your wisdom so that they can lead effectively and navigate us through these changing times. Oh, Lord, we lift up our nation and ask you, Almighty God, to help us to progress and not regress. Help our nation, oh God, to flourish and not experience famine. Help our nation to experience prosperity and not poverty. We pray now, Lord, for the proceedings of this house. We ask your unbound blessings to be upon each of our members of Parliament today. Finally, Almighty God, we pray for Sister Mildred Roberts and family and all those in our nation who are at this time grieving and experiencing some sickness or some death of a loved one, we pray, oh God, that you will bring comfort, bring peace, bring joy to their hearts today. We ask all these things, Almighty God, in no other name, but in the precious name of Jesus. And all of God's people say, amen. Let us pray the Lord's Prayer. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come. Thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen.
Good day, honorable members. When we suspended in our last meeting, we were debating a compendium of budget bills. I presume you are ready to begin? As many? The chair recognizes the honorable member for Fort Charlotte.
Powerful. Thank you very much, Mr. Deputy Speaker. I rise on behalf of the people of Fort Charlotte to highlight some of the key deliverables of my ministry over the course of the fiscal period 2024-2025. I'm very pleased to tell this honorable House that during this period of global disruption and opportunities, the strategic policies, Bahamian talent, and ingenuity at the Department of Immigration and National Insurance Board have improved border security and social security in the Bahamas. At the outset, the ministry has been working assiduously and collaboratively to enhance the efficiency of our immigration and social security processes and contributing to the overall financial health of our country. Mr. Deputy, I ask you leave to speak briefly to the people of Fort Charlotte. I speak today with a deep sense of gratitude, reflection, and humility. After much prayer, thoughtful discussion with my family, and critical reflection, I have advised the Prime Minister and the leadership of the Fort Charlotte branch that I will not be seeking a nomination in the upcoming general elections. This moment marks not an end, but a transition, one rooted in grace, perspective, and purpose. For the past 25 years, I have had the distinct honor of serving the people of Fort Charlotte, a community that welcomed me into their homes, entrusted me with their dreams and aspirations, and allowed me to bear witness to their resilience and spirit, and I thank them sincerely. I also extend heartfelt thanks to the Bahamian people, public, for their continued support throughout my journey in public life. I am especially grateful to the Fort Charlotte branch of the Progressive Liberal Party. Your commitment and steadfast support have been instrumental in my political career, inspiring me every step of the way. To my family, Marion, my partner, my children, Ife, Nia, and Ade, and my extended family members, you have been my greatest source of strength. I offer my deepest thanks. Public service demands much, not just for the one who serves, but of those who stand beside them. You have borne the weight of long days, late nights, and countless sacrifices with love and grace. Your unwavering support has been both my anchor and my compass. I wish to also thank my dedicated core team, those who have walked with me come rain or shine through every campaign trail and twist of fate. From 2002 and every election since, you are still with me. Yes. You have been my support system and my inspiration. As we always say, in the words of Pastor Steele, feel the heartbeat. The people of Fort Charlotte have felt our heartbeat. To former Prime Minister Perry Christie, I thank you for the confidence you reposed in me when you appointed me Attorney General and Minister of Education. To Prime Minister Philip Davis Casey, the Honorable Member of Cat Islands and Salvador and Rumkey, I thank you for appointing me as Minister of Works and Public Utilities and Minister of Immigration and National Insurance. I have given the best of my ability and fidelity in discharging my public duty and shall always be grateful to both of you for the trust that you reposed in me. Amen. Mr. Deputy, I have always believed in and sought to embody the principles of servant leadership. That to lead is first to listen, to uplift, and to serve with humility. Though I may not be offering myself for elected office in the next cycle, my commitment to nation building remains steadfast. I will continue to support the development of sound public policy, mentor the next generation of leaders and public servants, and stand firmly with the values and the vision of our party. As I reflect on this chapter and look ahead, I am reminded of the words of Dr. Martin Luther King, Jr., who said, and I quote, "Everybody can be great because anybody can serve." Mr. Deputy, I have simply tried to serve, and in that service, I have found the greatest honor of my life. To the people of Fort Charlotte, I say thank you. Mr. Deputy, the budget before us has achieved a rare combination between fiscal discipline and social progress. And I want to say to the honorable member of Cat Islands, San Salvador, and Rumkey, thank you. The budget 2025-26 is the culmination of 4 years of balanced fiscal discipline and social progress. Compared to many other countries in this region and in other regions where the IMF Article 4 consultations have given pessimistic assessment, the Bahamas receive a resounding endorsement of its fiscal management of the Bahamian economy. The IMF on the 17th of January 2025 issued a release on its executive board's Article 4 consultation with the Bahamas in the following words, and I quote, "The Bahamian economy has staged a remarkable recovery since the pandemic, fueled by a strong rebound in tourism, with economic activity back to pre-Hurricane Dorian levels. Growth is slowing, expanding by 1.8% in 2024, constrained in part by limited hotel capacity. Inflation is now modestly negative, but the cost of living remains high. The fiscal position improved in fiscal year 2024, driven by strong revenue performance and expenditure cuts. The fiscal deficit narrowed to 1.3% of GDP, from 3.8% of GDP in fiscal year 2023, while government deficit fell to 78.8% of GDP, end quote. Mr. Deputy, it is rare that a multilateral organization managed primarily by economists would use the word remarkable. And therefore, notwithstanding the partisan combat which occurs in this House, certainly no one can say that the International Monetary Fund is being partisan, but in its objective assessment, it has characterized the fiscal discipline and the recovery as remarkable. This ringing endorsement of the effectiveness of the past 4 years of fiscal discipline by the government, premised on strategic planning and smart, targeted investments, has produced an historic balanced budget and fiscal surplus. Yet, Mr. Deputy, most cases of fiscal discipline, sometimes called austerity, is often accompanied by the cut in the public service, the reduction of social programs, the reduction of benefits. And as I went through the Article 4 consultations with some of our regional counterparts, they've had, in some instances, to reduce the number of benefits offered by their national insurance scheme. However, in the case of the Bahamas, while maintaining fiscal discipline, there was remarkable achievement and accomplishment of social progress. VAT was reduced from 12.5 to 10, and now to 5% on a wide range of healthy food, of sanitary products, of renewable energy equipment, making not only healthy food available, but also for the care of elderly and also for the care of children. Sanitary products. And we see introduced throughout the country. And, you know, the honorable member of Angliston gave us a lesson in biology that between the age of birth to the age of 10, the synapses in the brain is still developing. Yeah. It is the fastest growing period of human development. And tied to that is diet. And therefore having a healthy, warm breakfast in the morning shouldn't be reserved for the middle class and the upper class, but that every child in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas should have a healthy, hot breakfast.
Right.
And the honorable member for Angliston also, in a very innovative way, carried out a national survey of learning loss. And based on the data, not the anecdotes, but based on the data, has been able to craft intervention to recover the learning loss that would have occurred as a result of the hurricane in Abaco and in Grand Bahama, as well as the pandemic. There was also an increase in the minimum wage. And the honorable member for Golden Gates, what an extraordinary achievement, Mr. Deputy. 53 new industrial agreement. Some would have said that the austerity or the fiscal discipline would not have allowed an increase, a well-deserved increase in salary of public sector trade unions. But yet we see, Mr. Deputy, and as I will give when I come to the national insurance, some of those counted in that number are two unions from the National Insurance Board, as well as with immigration. Over $10 billion of investment were brought in. There was a reduction of public death. And another critical social progress. 3 streams of mobility were provided for young people in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, Mr. Deputy. 3 streams. We have the stream of academic tertiary institution. We see a greater investment in this budget in the University of the Bahamas. We also see an increased commitment to technical and vocational education, BTVI, also the Maritime Academy.
Yes, sir.
In other words, giving people different streams of mobility within the society. And then, of course, the third stream would be entrepreneurship, and through the SPDC and other agencies, the Development Bank, more investment funds, investment grants being made available to entrepreneurs, especially young entrepreneurs pursuing their dreams to expand the Bahamian economy. Mr. Deputy, I can report that the Immigration Department has again surpassed its revenue performance from the previous fiscal period.
Excellent.
Revenue collected for the period 2024-2025 up to May is estimated to be $123,770,590. And this compares to last year, $97,658,050. It is also projected that this year coming, the Immigration Department will surpass $140 million in revenue for fiscal period 2025-2026. Mr. Deputy, the Department of Immigration, through follow-up investigations, targeted delinquent accounts,
Yes.
and more efficient collection efforts to collect outstanding payments during this period, has resulted in a record increase revenue for the government.
Yes.
I'm extremely proud of the dedicated efforts of the men and women of the Department of Immigration. Their efforts, along with the improved business processes, have continued to yield exceptional revenue performance. Mr. Deputy, Border Management, considering the existing and the emerging global migration trends, the Immigration Department is resolute in guarding the 32 ports of entry of the Bahamas and in determining who is admitted and who is refused. Every immigration officer at the port of entry exercises a statutory power of admissibility, determining who comes in and who is refused at the port of entry. And Mr. Deputy, I would like to frame the exercise of this sovereign power as a defense not only for the Commonwealth of the Bahamas,
Yes.
it is also a defense for the United States.
That's right.
It is a defense to the United States, because people may seek to come through the Bahamas to get to the United States. But the diligence of immigration officers secures the sovereignty of the Bahamas. But just as the United States assists and collaborate with us in guarding the maritime waters of the Bahamas, the immigration officer at a port of entry is keeping out, through their judgment, persons who may have bad intention or may want to just go into the United States as an undocumented immigrant. Those admitted through our borders for a specified period can seek an extension. If not, they can be arrested and detained by the Immigration Enforcement Unit, charged and deported for overstaying the time condition of their admission. At the ports of entry, the department continues to deploy and maintain state-of-the-art technology to monitor and secure our borders. While there is a demand for expatriate labor in the Bahamas, entry to the Bahamas must be legal. We have enhanced our intelligence gathering and analysis efforts, and we have strengthened our interdiction efforts by deploying drone technology along with other technical tools and have ramped up our recruitment process. In addition, our enforcement efforts have been successful because of our collaboration and close working cooperation with the Royal Bahamas Defense Force, the Royal Bahamas Police Force, the Royal Turks and Caicos Island Police, and our United States counterparts. Enforcement, interdiction, and repatriation. Mr. Deputy, dedicated enforcement efforts by the Immigration Department to detect, detain, charge, and deport undocumented persons with the cooperation of the aforesaid partners is an ongoing process. A total of 2,910 foreign nationals were repatriated in 2024. The overwhelming number of those deportees were Haitian nationals. 4,594 foreign nationals were repatriated in 2023, and 4,748 in 2022. Mr. Deputy, the Refugee Administration Unit processed applications of over 100 asylum seekers. Of that number, 5 of the applicants were granted leave to remain in the Bahamas until a refugee status was determined. Costs of detention. Mr. Deputy, based on the above figures, a significant amount of the 2024-25 budget of the Bahamas Immigration Department was allocated to maintain the detention center for the safe custody of irregular migrants while they await deportation rather. The cost of repatriation is a significant expense of the Immigration Department, and it exerts a tremendous burden on the public purse. Repatriation expenses for the period 24 to 25 May were estimated to be $1,550,977, with other repatriation expenses currently being processed for payment. The 2025-2026 budget is projecting and contains an amount of $1,847,000 for the repatriation of undocumented immigrants. Mr. Deputy, the level of efficiency in repatriation by the Immigration Department has allowed us to significantly lower the population of irregular migrants housed at the detention center. As of today's date, a mere 50 irregular migrants are housed at the detention center. I wish to commend, Mr. Deputy, the yeoman work of the members of the enforcement teams of the Immigration Department. These dedicated men and women throughout the archipelago, not just in New Providence, but throughout the archipelago, on the basis of reasonable suspicion, detain persons to confirm and clarify, and where persons have no status, they are detained, they are processed, they are charged, and they are deported. The excellence of these officers who are working in the bush, sometimes having to go in the sea, working under challenging circumstances, having to run persons down, working closely with the police and the defense force, giving what I call heroic service, protecting the sovereignty of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. Yes. It is this work, Mr. Deputy, which makes partnership a critical aspect of border security and border management. And the close relationship with the police, the defense force, and counterparts, especially from the United States, enables us to give what I call collective self-defense to the Bahamas, the United States, and the Turks and Caicos Islands. Mr. Deputy, there's also a number of capital projects by the department, within the Department of Immigration. There's renovation taking place at the detention center, design work for the construction of a canine facility adjacent to the detention center on Golden Isle Road. Renovations is currently underway at the Safe House, and also discussion for a possible PPP for a detention center in the south, in Inagua, that could also serve as a hurricane shelter for people in Acklands, Crooked Island, Long Key, and Mayaguana. Expansion of immigration offices, in keeping with the focus of the government to encourage and incentivize economic growth and development in all of our family islands. As new ports of entry are established, the Immigration Department is about to establish a unit on the island, on Long Island, as well as Cat Island, as these two islands developing very rapidly, and traffic coming from outside of the country. So within this budget, a unit will be set up in these family islands. Additional officers will also be deployed in Grand Bahama, Exuma, and the Keys, Eleuthera, and Abaco. Mr. Deputy, to bring immigration services closer to the community, the department has launched a city pop-up in various communities of New Providence. On February 28, there was a pop-up, immigration pop-up on Christie Park, where all of the sections of immigration were represented. And persons from the community were able to come and submit an application for a job, to be considered to join one of the immigration squad, to check on an application that was pending, and to learn about the immigration process. We moved from Christie Park and went to Southwest Plaza on the 7th of March, then at the Marathon Mall on the 15th of March, and Quality Market, Sea Grapes Shopping Plaza on the 21st of March. We intend to extend these immigration pop-ups in the near future to our family islands. Promotions. The Immigration Department as part of a succession plan, has very aggressively undertaken a promotion exercise of all of the ranks of immigration officers. Hundreds of applications on the 23rd of December were delivered to the Department of Public Personnel. I want to thank the Minister of Public Service, who's been working very assiduously in getting them processed, and also thank the Reverend Father James Mutri and the Public Commission for processing these applications. And within the next several weeks, we will be delivering promotion reclassification letters to hundreds of immigration officers. The last promotion was effective in 2019. And these officers, as I have traveled this archipelago, they're working sometimes under some challenging circumstances, and they are working very, very hard to protect the Commonwealth. So we have given the promotion exercise priority. We also, Mr. Deputy, have established a succession plan for the Department of Immigration so that every office in the Department of Immigration will be held by an officer in the ranks. Yes. And we are concluding our consultation on the succession plan and will be unveiling that plan shortly. With attrition, resignation, and retirement, Mr. Deputy, we have put tremendous focus and given priority to recruitment. And in last year's budget, provision was made, even under my predecessor, to recruit 100 officers last year, this year, and again, provision is in this budget for the recruitment of additional officers so that we can have the plan complement on each island and the relevant keys so that the work of border management and immigration processes will be well covered. And I want to say to the young people who have been recruited that we expect great things from them. The recruitment and training process have been going extremely well. The young people have come with an attitude that any one of them will one day and can and will be the director of immigration. I've really been impressed with each squad. The last squad I met with them, with the PS and the director, and heard from every recruit. And we have some talented and ambitious young Bahamians in our country. Mr. Deputy, there's also been a very aggressive training program. And as we tell the recruits, when you become an immigration officer, you have to commit to lifelong learning. Because the typology of fraud, the typology of smuggling is constantly evolving. Therefore, the training has to become much more robust, much more sophisticated, and utilizing the latest technology, including artificial intelligence, in order to effectively protect the borders of our country. We have been investing in training in partnership with multilateral bodies and with some bilateral assistance. 75 of our officers and staff successfully completed foreign language courses in Creole, Spanish, Mandarin at the University of the Bahamas. 4 officers are currently pursuing a certification in project management. We also have about 10 officers who just completed a 10-week leadership management certification, 30 staff members in first aid, and then a number of officers participated in close quarter combat training with the Royal Bahamas Police Force. So building the capacity. And I want to thank the Minister of Finance, who has provided a number of SUVs to the department as well as other vehicles. And those vehicles have been distributed to some of our family islands so that we can have the mobility to fulfill the obligations. There have also been courses in diving conducted by the Defense Force Commando Squadron Military Dive Course. So a full integrated program, including academic courses in partnership with the public service for trainee officers, as well as a number of officers who are deployed with other ministries and developing competencies that will be brought back to the Department of Immigration. Mr. Deputy, there's also been a commitment and progress in modernizing the IT platform. And many persons who use the platform know that when you apply online, there's simply your application is in progress. We are working with Canadian Banknote to develop coding so that the consumer, the applicant, would be able to get real-time information about the progress of their application. Also looking, Mr. Deputy, at improving the technology processes by using risk management, threat detection, advanced passenger information, and passenger name data, biometrics, artificial intelligence, and advanced analytics. All of these to improve the process of immigration. We also have, Mr. Deputy, legislation for the consideration of honorable members in this debate. There is the Immigration Amendment Bill 2025. And this bill aims to modernize the Immigration Act by establishing a licensing system for immigration consultants. There is some confusion in the public that there are consultants who are employed by the Immigration Department. The Immigration Department has no consultants out managing the application of applicants. As Canada, the United States, Australia, and New Zealand, these countries we have benchmarked, they all have regulatory regimes where persons who offer the service of consulting in immigration-related matters would have to get a license and would have to submit to an examination And in some of the jurisdiction, they have continuing professional education as a prerequisite for annual licensing. This bill, Mr. Deputy, will give some assurance to the Bahamian public that anyone who offers to service as an immigration consultant would be licensed, would have gone through a course of professional study to know the processes, and also that would give the Director of Immigration the tools to discipline anyone who violates the public trust with respect to the immigration process. There will be a movement to exempt lawyers and financial institutions which are regulated by the central bank or the Securities Commission, because they are regulated and they have the obligation, the professional obligation, and there is a recourse with respect to their conduct. There's also a regulation which has been laid in the House, and as tourism has changed, currently 78% of the tourist arrivals to the Bahamas are cruise visitors. And these cruise operators have established cruise destinations, yeah, some of which are keys and some of which are on land. A practice has developed in these cruise destinations where crew members work on land, on shore, serving food to thousands of cruise passengers. The regulation that we have laid makes it mandatory now that the crew of cruise ships who work on land would have to, is subject to securing a work visa, which at the daily fee of $3, and this is inclusive of immigration fee as well as NIB, the national insurance fee, so that the revenue to the government of persons working onshore would be generated. And of course, this is done within the context only in the case where Bahamians are not readily available to work on the keys, and some of the keys are having difficulty getting the requisite number of Bahamian employees. But in the meantime, if anyone comes off the ship to work on shore, they will be subject to immigration and NIB fee of an exclusive fee of $3 per day. Mr. Deputy, I want to, as I transition to the national insurance, I just want to say to this honorable House that this has been a year of intense engagement by the Immigration Department. And I want to commend our PS, Undersecretary, Director, and all of the various partners within the Department of Immigration, that we see you, we appreciate the extraordinary work that you're doing. Yes. And we look forward to strengthening the border management system within the Commonwealth. Yes. Mr. Deputy, our National Insurance Board is a critical arm of statecraft, because in our most vulnerable time, you know, who do we turn to? We turn to the National Insurance Board, right? Close to $50 million disbursed through the National Insurance Board within a year. Persons who had lost everything in Abaco and in Grand Bahama. Persons who had lost jobs during the pandemic. And the work of this institution is critical. It's a critical safety net. The National Insurance Board, Mr. Deputy, consistent with the government's policy to establish an equitable, fair, and harmonious workplace in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. On January 16th of this year, NIB successfully finalized a 5-year industrial agreement with the Public Managers Union for the period 2025 to 2029, improving working conditions, enhancing compensation structures, and fostering collaboration with organizations comprising 170 managers. 3 months later, 14th of April 2025, NIB and the Union of Public Officers signed a landmark 5-year industrial agreement for the period 2025-2028, benefiting over 450 union members. The agreement introduced adoption leave, hazard pay, improved compensation, and enhanced paid leave entitlements, and reinforce NIB's commitment to employee well-being. The sustainability of the fund. Mr. Deputy, a comprehensive range of initiatives aimed at reforming NIB were undertaken during this fiscal period. The overarching objectives were to improve the efficiency and effectiveness of NIB's processes, to pursue an investment strategy that will ensure maximum return on its investments, and to ensure the sustainability of the fund into perpetuity. Financial performance. On July 1st, 2024, colleagues would recall that the contribution rate was increased by 1.5%. This has been successfully implemented. This policy adjustment has positively impacted the fund's revenue position, generating an additional $4 million per month in contributions. This increase has proven essential in NIB's ongoing efforts to strengthen the financial sustainability of the fund. Despite this positive development, NIB's projected deficit for 2025 remains significant and is currently estimated at $32 million, inclusive of the additional income derived from the rate increase. It is important to highlight that a substantial portion of this deficit, which is $16.85 million, or 50% of the total projected shortfall, arises from the ongoing gap between contributions collected and benefits paid. And colleagues would recall that the NIB has the most expansive and comprehensive package of benefits than all of our regional counterparts other than Barbados and Grenada. In response, NIB continues to prioritize a robust and proactive collection strategy aimed at improving compliance and expanding its contribution base. This includes enhanced engagement with employers targeted audits, and strengthened enforcement mechanisms. These measures, Mr. Deputy, are critical to our commitment to protect and safeguard the welfare of the workers of the Bahamas, as well as the more vulnerable members of our society who rely on these benefits. Long-term benefits, which include retirement, invalidity, survivors, and assistance, for January to May 2025, total approximately $156.3 million, up from the same period in the previous year at $141.1 million. Most of the increase is due to retired pensioners, retirements, who are the fastest growing group of claimants. Short-term benefits such as sickness, maternity, funeral, injury, and unemployment for January to May 2025 total approximately $19.1 million, up from the same period in the previous year of $17.3 million. Pensions. The number of contributory pensions, retirement, invalidity, and survivors benefit increased by about 1,200 persons up to May 2025, while non-contributory, which is old age, invalidity, and survivors assistance, had a marginal increase of about 5 persons. Contributory pension and grant payments total $150 million, while non-contributory payments total $6.1 million. A total of almost 51,000 persons were receiving monthly pensions as of May 2025. The average retirement pension for new and existing beneficiaries is about $711. Mr. Deputy, NIB remains dedicated to supporting its more than 51,000 pensioners by ensuring the timely and consistent payment of pensions amounting to $28 million per month. This commitment underscores the organization's role in providing financial security for thousands of pensioners. Mr. Deputy, Deputy Director Mr. Kevin Burrows, who was appointed as the new Deputy Director of Investments at NIB, has a remit to execute a strategy which focuses on achieving sustainable, inclusive economic growth while safeguarding NIB's funds. NIB is prioritizing investments that stimulate the fund's social service offerings, ensuring long-term value and national resilience. A strong emphasis is being placed on risk management, transparency, and alignment with the country's development priorities. NIB is implementing the diversification of a trading plan for its U.S. assets. Mr. Deputy, investment risk tolerance for 2025 was conservative, with a focus on income and capital appreciation. With the fund heavily invested in the Bahamas, government and quasi-government entities, local and private entities, and more. The strategy for 2025 was to continue to increase equities and securities and implement the diversification trading plan for U.S. assets. In April 2025, NIB's investments stood at $1.8 $1.186 billion. The yield as of May 2025 was 3.9%. In December 2024, NIB's investment stood at $220 billion. The investment rate of return during 2024 was 4.7%. Investment income totaled $55.5 million in 2025, compared to $61.6 million in 2023 in the previous year, representing a decrease of $6.1 million. To recoup this increase, NIB will pursue a three-pronged strategy in the coming year. First, there was a recent extension of approximately $100 million of the Bahamas Mortgage Corporation and the Government Loan Authority bonds, which will result in an additional $2 million income each year for the 15-year duration of these bonds. Second, in 2025-2026, there will be a renegotiation of the terms of the property financial leases with a 2% yield, which will add $5 million in incremental revenue on almost $250 million balance outstanding. Third, NIB's re-entry into the international stock and bond markets, about 10% of its portfolio, will increase the liquidity and diversification of the portfolio and enhance return. Mr. Deputy, compliance, recovery of funds, and inspection. The Compliance and Inspection Division, under the leadership of newly appointed Deputy Director Indira Kinglock Archer, is a critical arm of the institution, which is tasked with preserving the integrity of the contribution system, recovering revenue where there is delinquency, and ensuring the sustainability of the fund. Mr. Deputy, this division has embraced a more strategic, data-driven, and people-centered approach to enforcement. And three recent initiatives have proven to be particularly impactful. One, the Compliance, Performance, and Recovery Initiative. Two, the Intergovernmental Agency's Revenue Operations. And three, the Contribution Interest Waiver campaign with targeted emphasis on Abaco and New Providence. Mr. Deputy, the Compliance, Performance, and Recovery Initiative, which will be launched fully in June of 2025, is a results-oriented field operation designed to stem ongoing arrears and reestablish a culture of active compliance. Under this initiative, monthly sweeps will be conducted in high-risk red zones across eastern, western, and central New Providence, as these are the areas with historically low compliance rates. Teams of redeployed inspectors will be mobilized with one mandate: to close compliance gaps, recover outstanding contributions, and register unreported businesses. There are a number of businesses in New Providence and throughout our archipelago which are not registered. every business is required to be registered, so very focused and strategic attention will be given to ensure full registration. These efforts will be supported by mobile compliance stations offering on-the-spot services. In essence, Mr. Deputy, NIB is coming to you. NIB intends to conduct a significant amount of business inspections, each sweep with the goal of recovering significant amounts in arrears from June to December of 2025. The next initiative, Intergovernment Revenue Recovery. Mr. Deputy, the board strengthened partnership with the Ministry of Finance, Revenue Fortification Task Force, involving joint operations with the Royal Bahamas Police Force, Immigration, Customs, Defense, and the Port Authority, is setting a new benchmark in collaborative revenue enforcement. Already, through interagency efforts, the National Insurance Board has realized impressive results in recoveries, thereby demonstrating what is possible. And I can tell you, Mr. Deputy, that the Immigration Department has had a similar experience as a participant in the Ministry of Finance Revenue Fortification Task Force. In one operation, the Immigration Board was able to recover up to $700,000 on one island. I won't call the island. Yeah. Already, this partnership is not only a financial success, but it is also a policy success, showcasing the importance of aligned mutual agreement and action. The third initiative, Contribution Interest Waiver Campaign. Mr. Deputy, the Contribution Interest Waiver Campaign is an initiative that embodies support for economic recovery, business continuity, and compliance reform. Through legislative provision in the National Insurance Amendment Bill of 2024, particularly Section 55, subsection 4, the board is empowered to waive interest on contribution arrears. This targeted campaign is designed to reduce expenditure for businesses, particularly in storm-impacted and pandemic-affected zones. 2, facilitate business continuity by mitigating a segment of the interest obligation. 3, encourage re-engagement with the formal system. 4, accelerate recovery of arrears and improve the Bahamas' ease of doing business ranking. Mr. Deputy, the results will be remarkable. Imagine the relief to employers in Abaco and Grand Bahama, still rebuilding after Hurricane Dorian, who will be able to take advantage of the interest amnesty period. Likewise, businesses in New Providence and the remaining family islands, many of whom were impacted by the COVID-19 economic downturn, can also participate. Mr. Deputy, this initiative is not a free pass, but a helping hand from the National Insurance Board. Mr. Deputy, Compliance and Inspectorate Division is evolving into a strategic enforcement force, equipped with tools for recovery, policy reform, and institutional trust building. Through the continued rollout of the compliance, performance, and recovery field sweeps, robust interagency enforcement mechanism, and ongoing interest waiver campaign, the board is well positioned to meet and likely exceed its $408 million annual revenue target, while continuing to provide the benefits and assistance needed for and to our people. Mr. Deputy, this is NIB in action. This is the National Insurance Board delivering with resolve for business owners of the Bahamas. Information technology. Mr. Deputy, in its quest to improve social insurance administration and service delivery, NIB will undergo an exercise to document the functional and non-functional business requirements for social insurance administration, assess existing information technology infrastructure and staffing, and provide guidance where existing insurance administration IT systems. In essence, Mr. Deputy, the National Insurance has an IT platform that is not fit for the current challenges, and therefore the board has decided to undergo what is known as a solution architecture assessment. So a request for bids has gone out, and submissions have been made, and one of the bidders will be selected to carry out what is known as a solutions architecture. And this solution architecture will enable the board to make a data-informed decision whether to continue to patch the existing system or to purchase a system. And let me say, Mr. Deputy, this is not said often enough. In the National Insurance Board, we have a number of developers. I'm talking about developers. Oftentimes, they create these tickets, and before the vendor can solve the ticket, the in-house developers of NIB come up with a solution. So not only will NIB be looking at buying off-the-shelf product, but also in partnership with others perhaps, and utilizing its developers in-house who know NIB, develop a system that is customized for the needs of NIB. And using Bahamian intellect, using Bahamian knowledge and experience to create a system for NIB. Employer self-service system. The employer self-service team has partnered with the National Task Force, the Chamber of Commerce, and the Inland Revenue to promote and onboard employers onto the ESS online portal and the C10 mobile app. And here again, we're talking about apps which have been created in part by Bahamian providers, as well as in-house personnel at NIB. And these apps now enable an insured to go on the app and see what is the state of their contribution. Rather than wait until you retire or about to retire, you now have the opportunity to just go on the app and see what your account is saying. Also, small business people can pay their contribution online, can register online. So we see, Mr. Deputy, the utilization of information technology to make the process easier for the public, as well as more efficient for the internal operation of NIB. Online card renewal was launched in July of 2024. So to renew your card, you no longer have to go into the office. It could be done online. In addition to these innovations, NIB is currently in the process of revamping its website so that it can be more efficient, more user-friendly, and enable NIB to deliver its services in a more seamless and quick and efficient manner. In preparation for using business intelligence and artificial intelligence to better understand customer life cycles, optimize operation, and make faster data-driven decisions, the IT department is implementing a data mart designed to give the business easier and more efficient access to key social insurance data. Mr. Deputy, national insurance is also a partnership with the stakeholders within the Bahamian society, regional stakeholder, and through ILO, international or multilateral stakeholders and partners. And we see NIB's engagement has been very multifaceted with the Bahamas Institute of Chartered Accountants, BICA, dealing with small to medium-sized practitioner seminar. NIB partnered with BICA for its small practitioner seminar under the theme, Building a Successful Business in the SME Space. Also, working very closely with the Chamber of Commerce in Grand Bahama, participating in the Chamber's meeting on January 29th. And I know colleagues who resident in Grand Bahama may have been at this event, where Assistant Director of Compliance, Ms. Kinlock Archer, presented on recent amendments to the National Insurance Act. Also participated in financial symposium, collaboration with the Department of Inland Revenue for financial, at the financial symposium at the Andre Rogers Stadium, baseball stadium, providing entrepreneurs with guidance on business registration, compliance, and digital tools such as employer self-service portal and the C10 mobile app. Mr. Deputy, the concluding fiscal year has been a productive one in reaching and exceeding the strategic objectives in the Department of Immigration, in addressing long-standing promotions, reclassifications, the preparation of a succession plan, and improving the processes of border management and the efficient processing of immigration applications. Similarly, the National Insurance Board has had a year of innovation, change of executive leadership, review to upgrade its IT platform, and a strategic plan to improve the performance of its investment portfolio to secure the security of retirees and the sustainability of the fund. And I want to, in asking colleagues to support this budget, state that as patriotic Bahamians, let us recognize that the budget represents a unique achievement. As stated unequivocally by the International Monetary Fund. How do you achieve fiscal discipline after a hurricane and a pandemic? And I know it wasn't easy. Every 100 years, yes.
Yeah.
But to come from that background, Mr. Deputy,
Yes.
and to achieve a surplus,
Yes.
to achieve a balanced budget,
In the easy fee.
and at the same time, when you're holding the rein, you know, that's what fiscal discipline means.
That's right.
You're holding the rein. At the same time you're holding the rein, you're making sure that the vulnerable,
Yeah.
you're making sure that the young,
Yes. Oh.
you're making sure that the seniors,
Yes, sir.
you're making sure that the small business people of the country
Yes.
have an opportunity to participate more fully in the national economy and better prepare themselves for global competition. At a time, Mr. Deputy, of one of the most, since World War II, one of the most uncertain time in global history, Mr. Deputy, this is a time of rising protectionism. Rising protectionism. And it is in this context, Mr. Deputy, that we must recognize that maintaining and achieving this trajectory, we have to hold tight to the partnership with the Bahamian people, be guided by the collective wisdom of the Bahamian people, and also show the maturity for what I call constructive engagement. That is, all sides of the aisle putting what first? Country first. Country first. And therefore, with those few words, Mr. Deputy, I thank you for your indulgence, and Fort Charlotte supports the budget.
Thank you, Honorable Member. As many? The chair recognizes the Honorable Member for St. Barnabas.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. Deputy Speaker. I had to resist the urge, Mr. Deputy Speaker, to start off with a bit of humor today and say future Prime Minister, but I won't do that, Mr. Deputy Speaker. Mr. Deputy Speaker, I rise on behalf of the great people of St. Barnabas, namely citizens of Coconut Grove, Big Pond, Black Village, Rock Crusher, and the Oakfield community. Just grateful to Almighty God for allowing me to see another day in the greatest country in the world, the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, and will continue to be forever grateful, Mr. Deputy, for the opportunity to serve the people of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. Mr. Deputy, as I move into my budget contribution, Mr. Deputy, just a few matters to deal with before I get into the substantive part of my contribution. I wish, Mr. Deputy, to let the constituents of St. Barnabas know that there's upgrades going on to all of the computers in the computer lab, and that should be completed momentarily, and we will reopen shortly so they can have full use of the computer lab, Mr. Deputy. Also, Mr. Deputy, I wish to say a hearty congratulations, I guess, if you will, and best wishes to the honorable member for Charlotte, now that the announcement is public. I don't know if it's going to be brief or you'll be back, but you know, in the spirit of service, your reputation, member for Fort Charlotte, and commitment to the development of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas has been well known for a long, long time. I am definitely your junior in life, so I was hearing before you before I've had the pleasure of serving with you. And so we wish you all the best. We thank you so much for the service that you've given this country and Fort Charlotte, and I'm sure the Progressive Liberal Party thanks you for your service. And we know we come into this thing called politics, Mr. Deputy, but the truth is, for those who serve our country, not only in here, but serve throughout the country, it continues to be a labor of love because we believe in the possibilities of what the Commonwealth of the Bahamas can continue to bring for ourselves and our children and future generations. So I salute you, sir. Thank you so much, and I do believe that history will be kind to you in terms of your service to country. Madam Speaker, Mr. Deputy, Mr. Deputy, as I get into my budget contribution, I just wish to make a public declaration here this afternoon, Mr. Deputy, of a personal nature, of a personal nature, Mr. Deputy. Mr. Deputy Speaker, it is always a great honor to serve the people of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, both as a member of Parliament and in my capacity as Deputy Leader of the Free National Movement. Since entering elected office, I've come to accept that the bright lights which bring public recognition and acclaim can also cast shadows of intense scrutiny, both fair and unjust. That is why in life I was taught, and I've always maintained, Mr. Deputy, not to be easily swayed by either the jeers or the cheers. For it is in the stillness of such moments that character is revealed. Nonetheless, Mr. Deputy Speaker, we must accept that this is the nature of service we offer the Bahamian people. While the demand for accountability in public life is just and necessary, it is often accompanied by innuendo, political whispers, unfounded imputations, and off-target accusations. Yet, I remain confident, Mr. Deputy, that integrity and ultimately the Bahamian people are best served when there is full transparency. Mr. Deputy, in the wake of the 2021 general election, much public discourse ensued, marked by genuine questions but also misinformation, disinformation, and frankly, falsehoods regarding my tenure as Executive Chairman of the Bahamas Public Parks and Public Beaches Authority. As a result, Mr. Deputy, a determination was made to initiate an inquiry to examine the validity of those claims. Mr. Deputy, I welcome the inquiry in the spirit of transparency and accountability. I always knew that in time, truth would rise above propaganda, misinformation, and disinformation. And so today, Mr. Deputy, free of malice, resentment, or grievance, I rise to inform this honorable House that I have been reliably advised and informed that in October of last year, Mr. Deputy, the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions concluded its findings into the inquiry into the operations of the Bahamas Public Parks and Public Beaches Authority during my tenure as Executive Chairman. It concluded, Mr. Deputy, in clear, concise, and definitive terms that in my capacity as Executive Chairman, there was no evidence of actions, activities, or decisions that violated any criminal statute of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. I commend those, Mr. Deputy, involved in the inquiry for their fair, comprehensive, and meticulous work, and for their commitment to uncovering the truth. To God be all the glory, Mr. Deputy. Lastly, Mr. Deputy, I wish to reassure the Bahamian people of my unwavering commitment to serve with the same integrity I brought into public life. And finally, I must recall the words often shared by my praying great-grandmother, Mr. Deputy, from Snug Corner, Auckland. She reminded me often that many are the plans in a man's heart, but it's the Lord's purpose that prevails, and that truth would always set you free. Mr. Deputy, I turn now, Mr. Deputy, to my substantive contributions to the budget debate. Mr. Deputy, a country's budget is only as effective and impactful as its ability to address the critical fiscal, social, economic, national security, national health, and educational issues facing our people. It should also carve out a vision of prosperity that the Bahamian people can feel in their lives in real terms, and the prospects of a better future. A better future for the single mother, the taxi driver, the fisherman, the poor, our youth, our elderly, the Bahamian worker, the Bahamian businessman, for the next generation that dares to dream of a better Bahamas. A budget is not just about paper, ink, numbers, deficits, and surpluses. It's about Bahamian lives and how they are changed by its contents. It must be more than prosperity on paper. A government's policies and decisions directly affect the lives of the Bahamian people, not just F&Ms, but PLPs and independents too. So, Mr. Deputy, let the word go out this evening that we in the Free National Movement find no fault with PLP or COI supporters. They are suffering too. And while some PLP supporters may be reluctant to openly challenge the government, we will do it for you because you've asked us to, and we are obligated to do so. We have heard your cries through calls, texts, and face-to-face exchanges, and we've heard you loud and clear. They have taxed you too all the way. Bad policies, bad decisions affect everyone. We've heard you loud and clear. You said that the cost of living is too high. You said that the government is spending more on themselves instead of you. That there is no plan to make your community safer or your paycheck go further. Because as was said by the member for East Grand Bahama, this is a budget for the few and not for you. And you're right. This New Day experiment has failed. It has failed to protect the most vulnerable, failed to build trust, and failed to prioritize the people who make this country work. No matter how much they stroke themselves, no matter how much political spin they engage in, the New Day experiment, the New Day gamble, has failed the Bahamian people. The damage they have left have hurt Bahamian small businesses, hurt the poor, hurt entrepreneurs, hurt labor unions, hurt the small man, hurt nurses, doctors, hurt the uniformed branches, and have set our nation back. Another 5 more years would be disastrous, Mr. Deputy.
Yes.
They have not prioritized the Bahamian people. They are focused on travel and their tax and spend policies. If there was a soundtrack, a song or two, attached to this government and their budget, it would be, they don't care about us, and I believe I can fly. They'll tax you, travel excessively, and tax you again. One thing that is clear, Mr. Deputy, and fellow Bahamians, this budget is for the few and not for you. This is a government of publicity, not performance. A government who prioritizes pictures and luxury travel over the real plight, the real needs of the ordinary Bahamian. They have put their money where their mouth is. Millions have been allocated for public relations, 30.5 million, and travel, 15 million plus, while vital programs are starved. Parenting program only got 29,000 in this budget. Breast cancer got 10,000. The Drug Council, 45,000. Blood donation, 1,500. Mental health, 500,000. A government of more style than substance. Because this budget, as the Bahamian people know, is for the few, but it's not for them. A government that called taxing lazy, now they are viewed by the people as the most taxing, fee-increasing government in Bahamian history. Whether it's a levy, a fee, increase, it's a tax in real terms. They can bring it through the back door or slip it in through some technical budget sleight of hand.
You're doing good, sir.
So much has been the impact of their increased tax burden that their tax increases have outrun their increase in minimum wage.
Yes.
You see, fellow Bahamians,
Yes.
this budget is for the few and not for you.
Yes.
Madam Speaker, the fix, Mr. Deputy, the fix was in early from the campaign trail. Their taxing and increased fees policy started with the great campaign promise that didn't have the fine print. Reduce VAT to 10%, take hundreds of millions in dollars out of the economy, but they needed to get it from somewhere, Mr. Deputy.
Yes.
They got it from you, the Bahamian people. Yes. They got it from raiding the budgets of Bahamian families, assaulting their pockets through fees, levies, and other tax by another name.
Yes.
No matter how often they say it in this debate or publicly, that they haven't raised taxes, it's just not true.
Yes.
And Mr. Deputy, this is the VAT-free bread basket and medication consumer guide under the Minister's administration. And everything in here, after they reduced the VAT to 10%, everything in here, they taxed 100%.
Yes.
Everything in here, but they didn't say that. Everything in here, this long list of items, they taxed.
Yes.
So it's not true that they did not put taxes on the Bahamian people,
Yes.
Mr. Deputy.
Yes.
Mr. Deputy, they placed taxes on things where there were no taxes. They raised it by 100%, as mentioned, on bread, basket items, and medications. But the kicker here, Mr. Deputy, is now they've come to try to clean up the mess they created, trying to claim they are reducing the pain they caused, not completely eliminating the taxes they put on the Bahamian people under the facade of relief. They bear the responsibility of increased taxes, but they want credit for taking a little bit off. Disgraceful, Mr. Deputy.
My Lord.
Mr. Deputy, what remains true that there are two worlds, the political fantasy one this government lives in, the other their PR specialists tell them to talk about, and the real world that the average Bahamian lives in caused by this government. The one that UB research says requires a $10,200 a month for a middle-class family to live on. Things are hard under this New Day government, Mr. Deputy. Hard. Because we see in this budget, Mr. Deputy, we see in this budget that it's only good for a few, but Bahamians not for you.
Not for you.
The Prime Minister said recently they are cleaning up our mess, but it is this government that has the country in a mess.
Yes.
despite their talks, despite their laughter, despite them banging on the tables, despite what they will spend in this debate, they have created heartache and hardships for the Bahamian people. Yes. Bahamians are worse off than they were 4 years ago. Just ask them. A recent poll found 65% of Bahamians, 65% of Bahamians feel things are worse than before in the New Day economy. Yes. Over the past 4 years, the tax burden has increased considerably on the Bahamian people, while the government has increased spending on travel since they came to office. Their travel bill at the end of the fiscal year 2025-2026, $73 million, Mr. Deputy. My Lord. $73 million. To the Bahamian people, this budget is about them, the few, but it's not about you. Yes. Mr. Deputy, let's talk about the surplus, the so-called surplus that ain't reached yet. The story of the surplus, Mr. Deputy, the story of the surplus is much more than the fact, Mr. Deputy, than the Prime Minister. Mr. Deputy, please. Thank you.
Protection from them.
Members,
Protection.
order.
Protection.
The story of the surplus is much more than the fact that the Prime Minister did say in his communication that his government has achieved a budget surplus. Now, the Deputy Prime Minister came back and said that, budgeted, Right? Mr. Deputy, while this could only be speculative, Mr. Deputy, and a projection, as the government is running a $200 million deficit for the 9 months of this fiscal year. They are behind, but yet they are projecting a surplus in a fiscal year that has not started. The Bahamian people only see a surplus of more games, a surplus of more smoke and mirrors. Yeah. And Mr. Deputy, Mr. Deputy, Mr. Gowenbo asked a very important question about this surplus. Where is the revenue coming from to achieve a surplus? How are you going to get 20% growth in revenues for 2025, 2026, when you are not likely to meet your projections for 2024, 2025? How? Questions the Bahamian people. How? So forgive us, Mr. Deputy. Mr. Deputy, so forgive us and the Bahamian people if we do not believe you. Past experience has shown us and the Bahamian people that your word is no good and it cannot be trusted. As a matter of fact, Mr. Deputy, the Bahamian people have not forgotten that this surplus of which they speak and brag about was supposed to be a $448.2 million surplus as projected in the 2024-2025 budget, and now it's $75.5 million. They revised it, stepped back from it, an 83.2% reduction, Mr. Deputy. So the Bahamian people don't believe it, Mr. Deputy. They are drowning in their own promises, Mr. Deputy. They can't even trust their own word. My Lord. And the Bahamian people definitely don't trust it. The Bahamian people know what is certain about this government. They make a surplus of promises that they have failed to deliver on, Mr. Deputy. Mr. Deputy, even more insulting is that the announcement of this surplus gimmick is being used as a tool to convince the Bahamian people, swing the Bahamian people into believing that things are so good and so prosperous that we are living in the land of milk and honey and money is flowing. But they are saying, hold on, man, hold on. If it is so good, why were people at ZNS protesting and singing, pay me what you owe me? Yes. Why haven't you paid the nurses and the teachers and the police and the reservists in Grand Bahama? Why? Please tell us why, if things are so good. Why did the Police Staff Association speak about receiving communication about their health insurance close to lapsing because of non-payment, if it is so good? Why? If things are so good, Why haven't you paid vendors, including your PLP supporters, who are complaining?
Yes.
And they complaining to us. If things are so good, why were Bahamians, if things were so good, why were Bahamians unable to get license plate and driver's license for months?
Yes.
For months, if things were so good.
Oh, ye of little faith.
If things are so good, why would you only allocate $2 million on much-needed fire truck acquisition? Only $2 million. Mr. Deputy, this is the game they are playing with the Bahamian people.
Yes. Shame.
They brag about this surplus that don't exist yet,
Can't pay the bill.
and their prolific revenue collection, which squeezes Bahamian taxpayers and Bahamian businesses. They put the people under duress. They come to this parliament and they say, Bahamians and Bahamian businesses, pay your bills.
Yes,
That's
pay
what
it.
they say.
Pay it.
We collect it, you know.
Pay the bills. Pay the people.
They tell businesses, y'all pay your bills, pay your taxes. That's the right thing to do. We will hold you into account. You have an obligation. But in the height of hypocrisy, Mr. Deputy, that is the New Day government, they as a government won't pay their bills.
Yes.
Maybe that's how they will try to get their surplus. Don't pay the bills, just cook the books a little bit.
My Lord.
What nerve, what audacity, what gumption, as Mama would say. Pay the people, man.
Pay them.
Pay your bills.
Pay them.
Mr. Deputy, the infamous, Mr. Deputy, the infamous consultant bill, How many more ways does this government have to tell us that this budget, fellow Bahamians, is for the few and not for you?
Yes.
This government has allocated now nearly $280 million for consultants, over $250 million, Mr. Deputy.
You say that again.
$280 million since they've been in office.
My Lord.
$250 million with a B. And yet, across this country, ministries are under-resourced and overstretched.
Yes.
Ask any minister, Mr. Deputy, or parliamentary secretary, we challenge them, if their ministry has everything it needs, every resource, every piece of equipment, every staff position filled. Not one will stand up and say yes, because they can't.
No.
I thought so, Mr. Deputy. Now imagine what $280 million could have done in education. It could have provided more technology, modernized classrooms, and helped children thrive. Many of the things that the member for Angliston constantly talk about and has been diligent about.
Member, the chair recognizes the honourable member for Freetown.
The funny thing is, Mr. Deputy Speaker, that's deceptive because I remember the member for Angliston saying that consultants helped produce that Bahamian textbook that we launched. That the largest part of the bill for consultants is to run the ecology park, which was engaged by them. And that consultants are in fact engaged in ministries doing things. I will let him finish the script, Mr. Deputy Speaker, and in my contribution, we'll break down what consultants are paid, what he knows better. He knows the largest payment is for the ecology park. They know that because they engage them. They're doing a good job. But it is misleading, especially when they talk about education, and they know consultants were used for the learning loss study and all of this. They know this. And so it is, Mr. Deputy Speaker, deceptive.
Mr. Deputy,
Islands interrupted.
my daddy used to say, my old man, he used to say and continues to say, you just gotta watch some things and it'll show you some things. Now we know the member of Freetown just got up, right, and invoked the member for Angliston. The member of Angliston didn't get up. So that should tell you he off bad, Mr. Deputy. Because the one thing with the member for Angliston, she could speak for herself. She could speak for herself, and we know that. We know that the member could speak for herself, right? Mr. Deputy, couldn't the $280 million, Mr. Deputy, be used in social services? It could have expanded direct support to our most vulnerable in health care. It could have meant more beds, ambulances, equipment, and modern clinics. In national security, $280 million.
Right.
It could have funded new police cars, fire trucks, fast boats, and protective gear.
Yes.
$280 million. In housing, it could have repaired aging homes and built new ones. $280 million in public works. It could have delivered better roads, flood mitigation, and safer bridges. $280 million, Mr. Deputy, in labor. It could have converted temporary workers to permanent posts. In youth and sports and culture, it could have built and upgraded sports facilities. In the environment, it could have protected our ecosystems and invested in climate resilience as much as the government champions global climate justice. Instead, Mr. Deputy, this government has chosen consultants over communities, spending on themselves over serving the people. The Bahamian people have not forgotten what you did to them as you initiated your assault on the middle class and the poor. You increased their tax burden. It's no surprise, Mr. Deputy, then, that 81% of Bahamians in a recent newspaper poll said things feel more expensive.
Yes.
They have not forgotten how you increased license fees and custom fees, national insurance, boat license fees, passenger taxes, increased the cost of electricity, and of course, the 100% tax increase on bread basket items and medication, Mr. Deputy. Mr. Deputy, as the member for St. Anne's,
The chair recognizes the honorable member for Freetown.
Said that customs fees were increased. Could he specify which, please? Because we don't
Could you
know.
point out which
All were reduced is the point that were made. And to say they were increased is incorrect.
thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. Deputy. As the member for St. Anne's, Southern Central, you're my boy. I going to ask, you say forget the question. We still want to know what you say last year, but this $2.5 million plane, you ain't answered that yet. So when you come and answer that, we will know about that plane.
Yeah.
We will know about that plane.
Yeah.
But no problem. Mr. Deputy, as the member for St. Anne's reminded members opposite, VAT is the PLP baby.
Yes.
They birthed VAT, Mr. Deputy. They birthed VAT. So let them never forget. They birthed the VAT. They birthed VAT. The VAT is the PLP baby. And I'll say to them again, Mr. Deputy, since the implementation of VAT in 2015, there's only been one political party, one government that has put 100% tax on bread, basket items, and medication,
Yes.
and that is the Progressive Liberal Party.
Shame.
The Minnis administration,
Shame.
the F&M administration under Hubert Minnis took it off, Mr. Deputy.
Shame.
Took it off, and that's facts.
Shame.
You did all of this because you reduced VAT straight across the board, and you needed revenue you lost. You made it easier for the rich and harder for the average Bahamian.
Yes.
Mr. Deputy, this government has labeled us in our fight for accountability for the Bahamian people as enemies of progress. You hear the refrain from the member from Exuma all the time, enemies of progress. The truth is the Bahamian people see this government as enemies of transparency, as they constantly keep the Bahamian people in the dark and smile while doing so. This is a government of scattered, shifting details and numbers that seem to have a mind of their own. Their broader behavior of delay and excuses have been their go-to move to keep the public in the dark. They put numbers on paper for certain things just to check the box, knowing that they plan to switch it and use it for something else in a couple of days. They think they're crafty, Mr. Deputy, but the Bahamian people see them. They saw how you manipulated the budget this fiscal year to pump monies into excessive travel. You were hiding it in different line items in ministries just to come back days later to use those funds for luxury travel. Yes. One trip, as the opposition continues to remind the Bahamian people, costs over $1 million. A coal million, Mr. Deputy, a coal million. So alarming, the member for Yamacraw last week challenged our colleague from East Grand Bahama because maybe he couldn't believe it himself. He said, prove it, Mr. Deputy, through you. Yamacraw isn't here, but here's the exact amount. $1,157,488.00 of the Bahamian taxpayers' money on one trip. What's even more interesting and alarming, Mr. Deputy, when you look a little closer, 827,488 of this, essentially 1.1 million, was withdrawn from the Budget Reserve appropriation. The Public Finance Management Act, Mr. Deputy, clearly states, in Clause 41, the minister may include a budget reserve appropriation in the annual budget, which shall have the objective of providing an unforeseen need for expenditure for which no provision or insufficient provision has been made by an appropriation act. 2, for the purposes of this section, an unforeseen need pursuant to section 1, and B, a need that cannot be delayed until future financial years without harming the public interest. Mr. Deputy, they can't say that this travel was unforeseen. They can't say that this amount needed to be spent on that particular trip was of national urgency, Mr. Deputy. Mr. Deputy, remember the SpaceX program, Mr. Deputy? My friend, the DPM, also, as it relates to this program, it's called the Rocket Man, heralded space tourism. But this failed program spit in the face of transparency, but it also provided a clear contradiction in the government's much bragged about fight for global climate justice. On transparency, the Bahamian people asked for, pleaded for, begged for an environmental impact assessment as they were concerned about the launch's impact on the environment, our waters, our people. But they said, to hell with the EIA, let's just give them a baseline environmental assessment. Mr. Deputy, how can you have an EMP without an EIA? Baseline assessments are essentially site assessments, and an environmental impact assessment includes a site assessment, but it also includes an analysis of the activity, the risk to the environment and people, and mitigation strategies, Mr. Deputy. A good question would be, why did the government waive the EIA requirement? And Mr. Deputy, you know, it was very, very interesting, Mr. Deputy. If you remember, right? On February 13th, all systems go. DPM says safeguards in place as Bahamas set for as many as 20 SpaceX rocket landings in 2025. All safeguards are in place. And then, April 16th, a few months down the road, SpaceX landings in the Bahamas pause pending EIA and post-launch report. So hold on. I thought they say that the safeguards were in place. So the very same person who said the safeguards are in place had to come back to this parliament, back to the Bahamian people, and say that it's being paused, Mr. Deputy. Mr. Deputy, on the policy contradiction, on one hand, the government says climate change poses an existential threat to our nation, which is true, but yet they sign on to a project without prior environmental clearance that could have put our environment and Exumians and the Bahamian people at risk. And while we are grateful these rockets did not blow up in our waters or over our skies, this project has blown up in the face of the government who didn't care enough to do due diligence, Mr. Deputy. Mr. Deputy, we remember the moorings deal and how the government was not diligent about not 4, not 40, but 4,000 acres of seabed in Exuma, until Exumians, F&M and PLP supporters spoke out and challenged it. And when the member for Exuma was asked, he pulled the shaggy, Mr. Deputy. He said, it wasn't me. Go check OPM. The thing is, we still understand that the moorings are still in the water, enemies of transparency. On prison construction, Mr. Deputy, prison was originally slated to cost $40 million. And then dark clouds came over and the number changed to $90 million, Mr. Deputy. The glass window bridge, on the refurbishment of the glass window bridge, the Free National Movement.
The chair recognizes the honourable member for Freetown.
The prison has never been slated to cost $90 million to construct.
100,000, what? 10 million difference? Is 80 or 90? Give us the figure. 80 or 90?
Mr. Deputy, Tribune article, May 2nd, 2023. Nice picture there of the good member for Freetown, Ragged Island man, right? New prison cost rises by 50 million, Mr. Deputy. Mr. Deputy, the glass window bridge, the Free National Movement estimated a cost.
Member, the chair recognizes the honorable member for Freetown.
The point of order remains. The member for St. Barnabas is quite aware when he read the story that the price tag they talked about wasn't just the prison and it wasn't just construction. It was maintenance for a substantial period. And he is aware of this because he has all of the information.
He just said it rise by 50 million. That's not a
what I'm
point of order. You didn't rebut that.
You didn't
He
rebut
said
that?
it rise by 50 million.
And the point that I make, Mr. Deputy Speaker, is that is inaccurate, incorrect, not misleading, just basically wrong. The construction cost of the new correctional facility has never been $90 million. And the same newspapers that he refers to, a little research would show that not only is the figure encapsulating the construction of the correctional facility, but the construction of the new virtual court and the maintenance for both up to as long as a decade.
Thank you, honorable
He's
member.
aware of it, just being
Thank you very much, Mr. Deputy. On the glass window bridge, Mr. Deputy, the Free National Movement estimated a cost between 26.1 million and 35.6 million. But since this government assumed office, their numbers have taken on multiple personalities, Mr. Deputy.
Member, the chair recognizes the honorable member for Central and South Eleuthera.
Mr. Deputy, I anticipated that this was going to come up today. The reality is...
You read the book, eh?
No. You know, I have a explanation tomorrow in my budget debate when I speak, but I can't let the member for St. Barnabas continue on this wicket, especially concerning the glass window bridge. Now, number one, you told me last week I was illiterate, so you know. So, Mr. Deputy, the former Minister of Works, quoted, how could you quote 20 to 40 million? That's a $20 million disparity there. And then decided 3 years after then that he was going to hire an engineering firm to give them a proper quote, proper engineering, proper QSing on the bridge that he never got. So you're quoting the price that a politician quoted prior to getting proper pricing from a proper QS.
Irresponsible.
So you quoting something 3 years prior to the Ministry of Works hiring somebody for a $2 million contract at the time for them to do the work. So I don't... No, I brought it on. And you know what's interesting, Marcos, today they over-commentated. You know, when he was Minister of Agriculture, it's an article where, and he speaks a lot about travel and consultancy. There's an article where he defends that the Ministry of Agriculture needs more money for consultancy, more money for travel, and now all of a sudden he's brand new talking about you can't have consultants, you can't have travel, you can't have this, you can't have that. So at least speak on one accord one time. Don't be politicking, man. Don't be politicking. Don't be politicking.
The numbers had multiple personalities. Now they've been throwing numbers. They threw numbers against the wall. 40 million, maybe 50 million, maybe 60 million. Even we heard over maybe 100 million, Mr. Deputy, at one point. Over 100 million. Right?
80
Attorney General Ryan Pinder said in the Senate last week that the bridge is now estimated to cost 40 million and 50 million at a basic level, with some estimates exceeding 100 million to build a new glass window bridge. So the numbers have been all over the place, Mr. Deputy.
Defend your cousin.
Right?
Eh? That's where they get it from. You're not white. Don't say
Mr.
that.
Deputy,
Don't mislead the House.
no details.
Don't mislead the House.
Mr. Deputy. When the details aren't taking a life of its own, Mr. Deputy, or thrown up in the air or against the wall, the government simply in their arrogance says, wait and see, it coming soon. Just hold tight.
Yes.
Or if you catch them on a clear, sober-minded day,
Oh my.
they will be defiant and they will tell you what they really think about the Bahamian people, and they will say, we don't have to say a thing, Mr. Deputy.
Exactly.
That's what they say on a clear-minded day if you catch them at the right time, Mr. Deputy. Just look at the BPL deal. The Bahamian people still haven't gotten the full details of the privatization of BPL, even though they said it would not be privatized. As asked by the member from Marco City, what is the arrangements between the transmission and distribution company and the company that will be responsible for generation? BPL has 10 components run by 10 different entities. How do they interact with each other? And most importantly, what is the monetary benefit in acquiring Bahamian assets? Mr. Deputy, the Grand Lucayan deal.
My Lord. Yes.
Mr. Deputy, while we are hopeful, Mr. Deputy, that the heads of agreement signing for the redevelopment of the Grand Lucayan deal will accrue significant long-term benefits for Grand Bahamians, we just don't know what they are. We just don't know what they are, Mr. Deputy.
Yes.
It is just crickets from the government on the Grand Lucayan deal. And Mr. Deputy, you see this right here? You see that?
Yes.
Bahamian people, this is a dollar bill. I have more money in my hand right now than the Bahamian people can see from this Grand Lucayan deal and the $120 million.
Say it ain't so. Say it.
I have more money in my hand than the Bahamian people and the people of Grand Bahama has seen yet for the deal that they say there's 120 million.
This is a tiresome job.
We need an explanation, Mr. Deputy. We don't see any indication of that $120 million
Keep fighting.
had been paid, not a single dollar, and it's not in the budget. What is the impact to the workers? We heard about phases. What is in each phase?
Yes.
What concessions have been given in the name of the Bahamian people? And what then is the long-term impact of whatever concessions have been given, Mr. Deputy? It is not enough, Mr. Deputy, for the government to think that an announcement alone will sustain hope from Grand Bahamians.
Yes.
As important as the announcement is, it is the details that will determine the transformational aspect of this venture. The urgency for this project to materialize does not trump the question about the strength of what Grand Bahamians and Bahamians at large have signed on to. And you know what's interesting, Mr. Deputy? You remember when they were criticizing the F&M and the Minister Administration deal with Grand Lucayan, right? March 29, 2019. Cooper criticizes Grand Lucayan purchase price.
My Lord.
Cooper criticizes Grand Lucayan purchase price. But it gets better. Cooper urges government to come clean on Grand Lucayan sale.
My Lord.
This is now the Deputy Prime Minister who said then, as it relates to the deal we had under the Minister Administration, give the details, he said, to come clean.
Yes.
So we say to this government on the Grand Lucayan deal, in the words of then Member for Exuma, now Deputy Prime Minister, come clean on what's happening with the Grand Lucayan deal.
Physician, heal thyself.
Mr. Deputy, they're also enemy of original ideas. In this budget, Mr. Deputy, they've paraded ideas that started under the F&M as their own. Wi-Fi in the park, Mr. Deputy. The government continues to boast about Wi-Fi in the park as if it was started under them, but it was started, Mr. Deputy, under the Free National Movement.
Yes.
25th of July, 2017, the Bahama Journal. Government fulfills promise on Wi-Fi zones for the parks. Right here. Right? Fulfills promise. Fulfills promise, Mr. Deputy. Mr. Deputy. Mr. Deputy,
Order,
I will
members.
say again, Mr. Deputy, the government, Mr. Deputy, the government has said that this, Mr. Deputy, please.
Order, members.
Mr. Deputy, the government has said, and has positioned this as if this is their original idea. The point that's being made is that it's not an original idea. And there were a number of parks that already had it, Mr. Deputy. Mr. Deputy, they said, Mr. Deputy, they're also enemies of the poor and the vulnerable of this government that came into office talking about being champions of the poor, that they would wage a war on poverty. But the first thing they did was put food on the poor, Mr. Deputy. The people haven't forgotten. As a matter of fact, Mr. Deputy, within the first 8 months of this fiscal year, this administration, you got it 9.6 million from social assistance spending, from 161.8 million to 152.2 million compared to the same period last year. But again, your travel budget went up. This is a government, Mr. Deputy, and Bahamian people, for the few and not for you, Mr. Deputy. Mr. Deputy, they say we are the enemies of progress, but they are the enemies of good governance as they prioritize their political needs over the needs of the Bahamian people. Yes. Just ask the member for Southern Shores, the leader of the PLP backbench. Mr. Deputy, the member of Southern Shore is quoted in the paper, it says, citing Progressive Liberal Party MP, openly accusing his party of sidelining backbenchers, warning that cabinet ministers are using public resources for public gain while neglecting equitable representation across constituencies.
Do better.
Major said PLP backbenchers are struggling to get government support for basic constituent needs while cabinet ministers enjoy disproportionate
Member, the chair recognizes the honourable member for Southern Shores.
Listen, I was literally waiting for this opportunity. All right? That
To reaffirm?
no, listen. That interview was totally about Leroy Major and Southern Shores. Has nothing to do with any other MP. All right? No, listen. It has nothing to do with Southern Shores being disenfranchised by any sitting cabinet minister. Had everything to do with Leroy Major being nominated for the next general election. That reporter has misinterpreted everything.
We accept that. We understand.
You sure?
We accept.
But I don't want to hear it again.
We accept.
I don't want to hear it again. No, I don't want to hear it again. No, I don't want to hear it again. I don't want to hear it again. Let's get it right. Let's get it right. Thank you.
Mr. Deputy.
What time it is now? What time is it?
Mr. Deputy.
I got a bar with that.
Mr. Deputy,
5:26.
so that the Bahamian people,
5:26.
don't think I was pulling this out of the air or somewhere else. This is the Tribune. It say PLP backbenchers don't get fair play. That's what it say. I quote.
The chair recognizes the honourable member for Southern Shores.
St. Barnabas, listen now. You support, listen. No, I check if you with that. Listen to me, St. Barnabas. Okay, sorry. Mr. Deputy, I made it clear the first time, and I'm making it clear again. The reporter has misinterpreted every single thing that I said. All right? And I want St. Barnabas to know that because he like going on this rabbit trail. I ain't checking for you right now. No, I ain't checking for you right now. I deal with St. Barnabas. No, your time coming. But no, I'm not like you, sir. I'm not like you. I'm looking at deputy. Listen, I need St. Barnabas to know. I need St. Barnabas to know that whatever that reporter said about me and my colleagues is incorrect. I need you to know that. No, I need you to know that, sir. So don't go down that trail. Please don't do that. All right? You're hearing it from me, Leroy Major, the Member of Parliament for Southern Shores. All right? I'm checking for you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Deputy.
You know mystical song that says whatever that says? You know that song? Let me find it. Mystical song.
Mr. Deputy, they've called us the enemies of progress, but they are in fact the enemies of fiscal growth, as their policies stifle the Bahamian economy. From day one, they've been shouting from the mountaintop repeatedly that they brought the economy from the brink. Even wrongfully and desperately, they said they inherited recession. Yes, they said that, and it's not so. It is not true. They met an economy growing at 14%, Mr. Deputy, at 14%. Not a fiscal cliff, as they keep asserting, Mr. Deputy. And Mr. Deputy, if you look right in the budget book at the fiscal summary, and you look at the year they're talking about, it says right there, 14%, Mr. Deputy. But, Mr. Deputy, as it relates to this government and the growth of the economy or lack thereof, the economy is creeping, having slowed down every year since they took office. Just look at the fiscal summary report. 6.8, 3.2, 2.6, 1.7, and for the next fiscal cycle, 1.6, Mr. Deputy.
The chair recognizes the honourable member for Freetown.
St. Barnabas is quite aware that Kalani closed down all of our businesses. And we don't blame him for that. But the economic facts are that they closed down all of our businesses. And so when they talk about growing, yes, Kalani felt he needed to do it, and we're not debating that at the moment. But the starting point for their phenomenal growth is when they put me out of business, all of us out of business, and when I was able for one lawyer to go back to office or two, then that's growth. And so when you grow from 0 to 1 and 1 to 2, that's 100% growth. St. Barnabas knows this and is being disingenuous and misleading. They grew the economy from the time that they put it on the cliff. It was inching from there. And then you had remarkable growth. Nobody has accused them of having remarkable growth or remarkable management.
Mr. Deputy, there are things that do move in this life that we're in, but some things are stubborn and don't move, and these numbers ain't moving. 14%, 6.8, 3.2, 2.6, 1.7. That is your growth legacy as a government, Mr. Deputy. Mr. Deputy, comparatively and sadly, Mr. Deputy, the World Bank indicates that our nation has the worst growth outlook in the Caribbean this year. The IDB said that the Bahamian economy's growth underperformed its regional rivals by 5 percentage points. This budget and their whole economic policies are just prosperity on paper, not trickling down to the small man. Just ask their own government member, Senator Dorian Pickstock. See, their own members, Mr. Deputy, their own members are speaking truth to power. Southern Shores has spoken truth to power, but he says now that it has been mischaracterized. I'm saying he says it was mischaracterized. But Senator Dorian Pickstock in the Tribune, businesses need to feel effects of nation's growth. Your senator in the upper house said that the Bahamian people ain't feeling it. All these talks you're talking about, businesses need to feel effects of nation's growth. Businesses need to feel the effects of nation's growth. Continue. GDP growth is good, but we must ensure that the growth is widespread and felt by everyone. Yet there remains a palatable sense of frustration in certain communities that are falling short, that we rather are falling short of our potential, particularly when it comes to issues like the cost of doing business, Mr. Deputy. So, Mr. Deputy, they are enemies of business and entrepreneurship. They talk a good game, but their broken promises, unused budget allocations, no funding and tax policies made it harder to open a business, do business, and stay in business. Remember the big $50 million a year pledge to small businesses 3 years ago? But $50 million, Mr. Deputy, not five, $50 million they said for small businesses. By now, small businesses should have seen $150 million worth of support based on their word, their promise. But you can't even find, Mr. Deputy, $15 million, Mr. Deputy. They are so unfocused and dismissive of small businesses support. What they allocate on paper, they don't spend. As the member for East Grand Bahama said, look at the Ministry of Grand Bahama. Grand Bahamian businesses, small businesses, don't only want support, they need it. Out of the $200,000 allocated for support for the Small Business Development Center, only $2,927 was spent of $200,000. The member for East Grand Bahama pointed out that more money was spent on advertising. He was on point. And they actually spend more money on toilet tissue and cleaning supplies too, Mr. Deputy. Just talks, that's all they are, Mr. Deputy. They're talkers. The Free National Movement are doers. To the Business Development Incentive Program Bill 2025, they are giving tax credits and direct payouts to encourage companies to invest. However, in their typical fashion, they boxed out the small Bahamian businesses. The small man need not apply because you need an annual turnover of $50 million or more. Unbelievable, Mr. Deputy. They have favored the big, wealthy, and elite, saying, to hell with 99% of Bahamian businesses, Mr. Deputy. I tell you, fellow Bahamians, that this budget is for the few, and it is not for you, Mr. Deputy. Mr. Deputy, while the government talks about travel and ribbon cutting, they remain silent. Silent, Mr. Deputy, on the issues that truly matter, like crime. Mr. Deputy, let us begin with a glaring omission in the 216-page budget communication presented by the government. Not once, not a single time was the word crime or murder mentioned, Mr. Deputy. In a nation where violence and lawlessness remain chief concerns for our people, this silence is not just tone deaf, it is dangerous. And they say, if you want to know where our government's priorities lie, simply look at its budget. And by that standard,
The chair recognizes the honourable member for Freetown.
Sure that the members in Barnabas went through the 216 pages and saw all of the explanation of the technology that's going to be deployed, the manpower to be deployed, national security, which is overarching, and the remark by the member for Cat Island, Rumkey, and San Salvador that individual ministers would speak more comprehensively. It is saddening, Mr. Deputy Speaker, that a party that said that they got it to the point that in their associations were participating in the crime plan by having prevention programs themselves, now claim that they don't know what the program is. Well, you can't be both fish and fowl. Either you're a part of it, as the member for Marco City has said, or you're not a part of it. Not only has the Prime Minister said it, I have said it at the UB Public Policy with Abaco lying. It has been said overly repeatedly. Claire Holt bill has been circulated, and all of this, the shadow minister on the other side apparently missed it.
Mr. Deputy, and by that standard, as I was saying, Mr. Deputy, it is clear that national security is not a priority for this administration. Yet the very foundation of any functioning society is the safety and security of its citizens. And let me be clear, Mr. Deputy, no economic promise or investment matters if people are too afraid to go to school, to open their businesses, or to walk in their own streets. National security is not a luxury, Mr. Deputy. It is a necessity. It is the bedrock of community development, the foundation of national growth, and the gateway to economic opportunity. There is no transformation of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas without security, no empowerment without safety, no freedom without protection, Mr. Deputy. This administration's failure to address crime in their budget is not just an oversight, it is a betrayal of the Bahamian people's most basic need to live without fear. By any measure, Mr. Deputy, this government is failing on crime. Since 2021, there have been 513 murders in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, with 2022 being noted as the second deadliest year with 128. Just last year, murders increased to at least 120, an 8% rise from the previous year. Over 85% of those murders were committed with illegal firearms, and those weren't isolated incidents. This violence spilled from New Providence to Grand Bahama and into the family islands like Eleuthera and Andros, turning quiet communities into crime scenes. In January 2024 alone, the Bahamas recorded 21 murders, the deadliest month of the year. And just days before Christmas, gunmen opened fire in a Nassau barber shop, killing 2 men and injuring a child. This is the reality Bahamians are living in. Meanwhile, over 38% of the murders for 2024 remain unsolved. The closure rate for these crimes is unacceptable, and trust in our system continues to erode. Voice yet, Mr. Deputy?
The chair recognizes the honourable member for Freetown.
I think this politicking has reached an all-time low. When the shadow minister for the other side would characterize what is an exceptionally high rate of clear-up for crime by the Royal Bahamas Police Force, higher than the FBI, higher than any law enforcement agency in this region or the U.S. He really should withdraw that and show some respect for the men and women who work very hard on the Royal Bahamas Police Force to maintain a high clear-up rate for homicides and for all serious crimes. It is despicable, and withdraw it.
I find it fascinating. I find it fascinating that the member for Freetown, who can't pay police officers, can't pay reservists, right, that constantly chastises the Police Staff Association like they don't have a voice, can stand up in here and talk about respect. If you respect the police and the people who come under your remit, pay the people. Pay the people. Pay them. Pay them. When you can pay the people, then you can talk about respect. Pay the police. I am not. What's the point of order? What's the point of order?
The point of
the chair
order,
recognizes the
Mr.
honourable member
Deputy
for
Speaker,
Freetown.
after that bit of politicking is he owes the men and women of the Royal Bahamas Police Force who work very hard to maintain a very high clear-up rate of crime. He can play games with me, but he ought not to play games with professionalism and the results of these officers. He and I can go round and round the mulberry bush on this, that, and the next, but respect the work that these people do. And they do it in the night when we're sleeping. They do it beyond their shift hours. And so he and I can go backward and forward on these things. But it is unacceptable that the shadow minister would be denigrating such an accomplishment by the Royal Bahamas Police Force in their clear-up rate. He ran on about 38 of these murders ain't solved, and that's a high solvency rate, as the police say. And he should acknowledge it, and he should withdraw it.
Okay. Honourable member, before you continue, are you going to withdraw?
No, Mr. Deputy, I'm not going to withdraw it. Mr. Deputy, Mr. Deputy, Mr. Deputy, I am not going to, Mr. Deputy, I am not going to let the member for Freetown, allow him to question my respect, to question our respect for the men and women of the Royal Bahamas Police Force or Uniformed Services, right? Just like thousands of Bahamians, I got family members who still on the force and serve the force, What you should apologize for is why people aren't being paid. And what we are saying to you is that you should focus in making sure that the men and women of the uniform branches get all of the equipment and everything that they need, and stop telling the police staff associate. Mr. Deputy, Mr. Deputy.
The chair recognizes the
Mr.
honourable
Deputy.
member
As I
for
say, Mr.
Freetown.
Deputy Speaker, I can sit after he withdraws it, and
Honourable
he can
member,
do the
we
dance
will-
with
we will
the
have-
Royal
we will have it
Bahamas
stricken from the
Police
records.
Staff Association, but he needs to withdraw that. Then he can come back to politicking with me.
We'll have it stricken from the records. The chair recognizes the honourable member for St. Barnabas.
I have not called more than the member for Freetown, and he's the Minister of National Security. I have stood here on my feet in many days making sure, arguing for the men and women of the Royal Bahamas Police Force to get what they
Leave
need,
it up
that
to the
people get being paid, Mr.
Leave it up to the
Deputy.
commissioner
All right,
to
Mr.
say.
Deputy.
Yeah, that he don't interfere.
What we are saying, Mr. Deputy, is provide what the Royal members of the Royal Bahamas Police Force needs to do their jobs, Mr. Deputy. That's the point we're making. So he can try and do this, twist it all he wants. It ain't gonna work, Mr. Deputy. It ain't gonna work, Mr. Deputy, because I don't discount the men and women of the Royal Bahamas Police Force through the Police Staff Association,
Don't evict
Mr.
them people
Deputy.
in Grand Bahamas.
Mr. Deputy, right? Voice yet, Mr. Deputy. As we know, we've heard about the indictments, Mr. Deputy, and persons those charged with protecting us that have been tainted, Mr. Deputy. A U.S. indictment last year revealed a shocking conspiracy involving senior officers of the Royal Bahamas Police Force, including a chief superintendent, Mr. Deputy, accused of facilitating international cocaine trafficking in exchange for bribes in the U.S., Mr. Deputy. Mr. Deputy, this scandal, Mr. Deputy, stimulated changes on the Royal Bahamas Police Force. It sparked outrage and protests in the streets, but you wouldn't know it reading this budget because the government has chosen to ignore the crisis. It's obvious this administration is terrified of transparency, Mr. Deputy. Yes. Mr. Deputy, they refuse to support a commission of inquiry or select committee on crime, despite the voice notes implicating law enforcement and the justice system, and millions missing from the airport armored car heist that has now led to multiple murders, Mr. Deputy. Mr. Deputy, while crime surges, this government's priorities, nearly $400 million in no-bid contracts for friends, but no plan, none, for restoring public safety. My fellow Bahamians, this is a budget for the few, but not for you.
Yes.
Mr. Deputy, national security is not abstract. It is deeply personal. It touches every household, every family, and every corner of this country, Mr. Deputy. It's not enough to cut ribbons if we're not cutting crime. It's not enough to break ground on buildings if we do not break barriers to safety and opportunity. Yes. It is not enough to attract investment if our people live in fear. The Free National Movement envisions a different path, a comprehensive national crime strategy rooted in prevention, enforcement, and community-based intervention, Mr. Deputy. Investment in witness protection, intelligence-led policing, and more modern forensic capabilities, partnerships with schools, churches, and organizations to build safer neighborhoods and support at-risk youth. The present moment offers an opportunity to think creatively, Mr. Deputy, and explore more tailored, innovative solutions to violence, combining proven deterrence with long-term investments in prevention, Mr. Deputy. We can't build a nation on broken trust, Mr. Deputy. Mr. Deputy, we can't uplift communities if they are buried in fear. We can't be a country for all when this budget makes it clear it is for the few, but not for you. Mr. Deputy, even the effective tools and programs the F&M left in place that assisted in the fight against crime has vanished, Mr. Deputy. There is no allocation in the entire budget from back to front to back, Mr. Deputy, for the Neighborhood Watch Council. If we look, Mr. Deputy, in the budget, not a single dollar. It's incredible. No, it's actually a tragedy, Mr. Deputy, and a sign of negligence on behalf of the government. The National Neighborhood Watch Council had 167 groups that included 5 family islands compared to Urban Renewal, which is an inner-city crime prevention application. The National Neighborhood Watch Council policing program focused on crime prevention throughout the country. Greater reach. They worked well together. Why would the government let such an expansive and effective program go by the wayside? It received international acclaim from the International Association of Chiefs of Police, held up as a model for community policing around the world. But the government has allowed it to falter. Why? The cars, computers, and resources are nowhere to be found, and officers reassigned. There was a citizen willing to donate a community app to the ministry. The government never introduced the program. The government had been losing the fight on crime, and they shut down and eliminated one of the most effective tools they had in the toolbox. They've dropped the ball on safety and security for the Bahamian people, Mr. Deputy. Mr. Deputy, we also note about that program too, Mr. Deputy. We were made to understand that there are persons who are no longer affiliated with that program who are soliciting funds on behalf of the government. What is going on with this program, Mr. Deputy? Mr. Deputy, just as national security is the foundation of stability, education is the engine of progress, Mr. Deputy. So we must acknowledge that the future of our country depends on how we treat education today, and the member for Angliston has been diligent as the Minister of Education and has offered all of the different views on what are the challenges and what we need to do in the future. Unfortunately, this government's budget, Mr. Deputy, like so many other of their decisions, benefits the few and not you, the Bahamian people. The F&M believes we need a comprehensive plan to build an education system that supports, attracts, and retains great teachers and creates pathways to real opportunity for our students. We know it's going to take more than what we are doing to deliver the education our children deserve, which is why we believe a refined and expanded teacher cadet program to attract students into the teaching profession early, the launch of a bold Teach for Bahamas initiative, incentivizing teachers to serve in our family islands, a salary structure that reflects the dignity and demands of teaching by raising the salary cap, enhanced investment in the University of the Bahamas, not just for prestige, but for performance, the creation of a Department for Higher Education and Research to drive long-term national competitiveness, a decluttered primary curriculum to focus intensively on literacy and numeracy, especially in the early years, enhanced pathways for technical and vocational education, creating bridges from high school to high-wage work, and the creation of the Every Child Connected program, ensuring every student has access to a laptop by 2035. Mr. Deputy, our leader and party supports an expanded breakfast program, but we urge the government to stop bragging about watching our children eat while their parents desperately search for opportunities to take care of their families. National pride is not a substitute for measurable learning gains. They talk about transformation. Mr. Deputy, I'm wrapping up. I just need a few more minutes, please.
2 minutes.
And a few more minutes. Thank you, Mr. Deputy.
2 minutes.
But the data shows stagnation. Too many students are falling through the cracks. Too many teachers are burning out, and too many young Bahamians see no path forward in their own country. Mr. Deputy, while they are spending millions on public relations and personal travel, there is no investment in keeping our best minds home. No real vision for how education drives equity or how students become nation builders. Again, a budget for the few, but not for you, fellow Bahamians. Mr. Deputy, the Free National Movement understands we must build a system that retains our talent, lifts our teachers, empowers our students, and delivers outcomes, not just headlines, Mr. Deputy. And as I close, Mr. Deputy, there are two worlds in this country, Mr. Deputy. The fantasy world this government lives in, shaped by PR firms and political handlers, and the real world the average Bahamian wakes up to every single day, shaped by struggle, hardship, and broken promises. One lives in headlines, the other lives in reality, Mr. Deputy. The reality is this. Things are harder than ever under this New Day government. Not our words. Those are the words of the Bahamian people, Mr. Deputy. Yet, wrapping up right now, Mr. Deputy, yet the Prime Minister said they are cleaning up their mess. Let's be clear. It's this government, Mr. Deputy, that has put us in this mess. No matter how loudly they bang on the table or spin their storylines, Mr. Deputy, the Bahamian people know the truth. Just ask them, Mr.
Order,
Deputy.
members.
The 65%. While families face rising taxes, this government racks up travel bills. And by the end of the fiscal year, I say again, that they'll be spending $73 million, Mr. Deputy. This is not governance, this is indulgence.
Yes.
This budget is not for nurses or teachers, not for small businesses or single parents, Mr. Deputy. It's not for the next generation, Mr. Deputy. This budget is for the few and not for you. And the Bahamian people are watching. Mr. Deputy, they are waking up soon and they will rise up. Because no matter how far this government flies, the truth will always land home. Thank you, Mr. Deputy.
The chair recognizes the honorable member for Angliston.
Thank you, Mr. Deputy. I heard, Lord, my Lord. But on the issue of education, it's interesting that the member for St. Barnabas would lay out a number of things that was discussed that are underway as we speak. Speak to one teacher, okay? I spoke about the teacher cadet program and its current role and its expansion. On the issue of primary school literacy, I went at length. Were you here? At length on what we are doing with literacy for children. And on the issue of, I think it was called the Student Achievement Unit that deals with the issue of tertiary education for students finishing high school. And on the issue of digital literacy, I spoke about the IDB and the Digital Transformation Project and the fact that the Ministry of Education. So what are you saying? You amplifying our program?
No, don't amplify, no point.
You amplifying? You see, no. See,
Order,
I know,
members.
I see the strategy that is underway, but I want you to know you will meet resistance from this member every step of the way. And I can make this last point, Stephanie. Last point. I have been very careful. It's almost 4 years. I have never gotten political on education. You don't want me to do that. You don't want me to do that. That's all I'm saying. And I don't want to do that because I love Jeff Lloyd. But you do not, and on all of the F&M, I love you all, but I ain't love you that much. I want you to know, do not allow me, do not cause me to be political on education. Because there's some serious issues, serious points that can be made. I have not done it. That's right. I have not done it. So when you come in here talking about, oh, this and the headlines, please, now I know I ain't gonna tolerate that in here. I can tell you, I ain't gonna allow you to do that. I'm not going to allow you to do that. Be fair, be honest. We don't need politicking in here. Be honest.
Thank you, honorable member.
Mr. Deputy, thank you. Thank you. Go over. Don't sit down. Yeah, don't. You ain't want that one.
The chair recognizes the honorable member for St. Barnabas.
Yeah, thank you. Mr. Deputy, let me just be clear, Mr. Deputy. We have said on a number of occasions here, including most recently the honorable member for Angliston and her contributions, and how passionate she's been, how diligent she's been in education, Mr. Deputy. So if we are amplifying, Mr. Deputy, if we are amplifying the things that needs to be done, Mr. Deputy, we will continue to do that. No one is getting political, Mr. Deputy. Thank you.
As many, the chair recognizes the honorable member for North Abaco.
Close the vote. Thank you, Mr. Deputy Speaker.
Showtime finish.
Thank you, Mr. Deputy Speaker. Good evening, all. Good evening. Thanks to God. It is with deep humility and unwavering gratitude that I rise today. Are you not just as a member of Parliament, but as the proud voice of the resilient and hard-working people of North Abaco. I do not stand here for professional praise, for personal praise, or political TL. I stand here for them, the people who sent me to this honorable house, to serve, fight, and to execute. Every decision I make, every word I speak in this chamber carries the weight of their hopes, their needs, and their future. Today, as we debate this national budget, I bring forward not just figures on a page. I bring the lived realities of the people of North Abaco. Deputy Speaker, please permit me to extend my sincerest condolences to the Smith family on the passing of Bernie Smith, a lady that I've known my entire life. Her deceased son was my best friend. So I want to extend my condolences to the family who is my family. Yes. Pray that God will comfort them at such a time as this. Every corner of North Abaco carries a voice. The young man in Cooperstown, chasing opportunity with fire in his heart. The grandmother in Crown Haven, still feeding generations with hands worn by sacrifice. The young girl in Murphytown, dreaming boldly beyond what she sees today. And the grandfather in Grand Key, who has labored through sweat and silent tears, building a future he may never step into, but one he prays his grandchildren will inherit. These are not just constituents. They are the heartbeat of a nation, too often overlooked. Their stories are my purpose. Their struggles are my mandate. Their success is my mission. This budget, Madam Speaker, Deputy Speaker, this budget is definitely for them.
Yes.
For their resilience, their courage, and their unshakable right to a future that is brighter, fairer, and filled with endless possibilities. Deputy Speaker, let me be clear. I am here to serve, not to be served. Not defined by accusations, but by action. Not distracted by noise, but focused on a nation. I am and will always be a son of North Abaco. Trust in God, he does wonderful things. And a servant of the Bahamian people. Mr. Deputy Speaker, in this fiscal year, I rise not only to support this budget, this fiscal budget, thank you, but to report on the real progress we are delivering in North Abaco, brick by brick, initiative by initiative, and family by family. Mr. Deputy Speaker, our dreams mean nothing without delivery, and I am proud to stand before this honorable house with evidence that our vision is becoming reality.
Yes.
Not in words, but in work. In Central Pines, thanks to the Minister of Works, Central and South Eleuthera, major road works are underway. The repaving of key routes, y'all get bang for that, has begun in earnest. More is coming. Abaco, that's the minister. And this long overdue improvement is finally becoming a reality for the residents who traverse those roads daily. Through the Ministry of Housing, families have received, not are expecting, have received keys to their homes under the rent-to-own and mortgage initiatives. These programs is more than policies. They are dreams fulfilled for families who now know the pride of ownership. Thank you, Michael. You didn't hear that, I will say it again. Thank you, Michael.
Yes. Yeah.
Additionally, Urban Renewal Authority continues in a small home repair program throughout Abaco.
Mr. Barnabas, that's it now.
Prioritizing those most in need are seniors, single mothers, and vulnerable families. Restoring dignity, one home at a time.
Yeah.
And Deputy Speaker, I'm especially proud and excited about the near completion of the DRM Hurricane Shelter in Central Pines. This modern multi-purpose facility will serve not only as a refuge in times of disaster, but as a symbol of resilience and forward-thinking preparedness. It is a beacon of safety for future generations. Thank you, Central and South Andreas. In Cooperstown, I am personally spearheading the renovations of the softball and basketball park. These projects are not simply about concrete and fencing. It is about creating safe space for our young people to grow, to train, and to thrive. It's an investment in youth, in wellness, and in community strength. In Foxtown, we have partnered with the local government members and completed land surveys for the development of a future hurricane shelter. This is a vital step forward in ensuring that no part of North Abaco is left behind in our national disaster preparedness efforts. Across the constituency, the surveying and regularization of Crown land is actively underway. These efforts are empowering our people to secure legal ownership of their land, opening doors to home construction, agriculture use, and long-term investment. This is economic empowered in action. We would like to thank the Prime Minister and the office, staff at Office of the Prime Minister, and the Director at Lands and Surveys and his team. For the first time in a long time, persons in Abaco are actually receiving documentations on Crown land. Okay. Mr. Deputy Speaker, in Green Turkey, the long abandoned and dilapidated post office building has been demolished. After talks with Mr. Wade Cash and a visit by a team from Antiquities, Monuments, and Museums, I addressed a letter to Mr. Cash, well, of course, a conversation with the Prime Minister too, and he said to me, Kirk used the Member of Parliament. That being said, I addressed a letter to Mr. Cash granting permission of the immediate demolishing and removal of all debris and rubble of the said building. That building was not just an eyesore. It was a danger and a risk to the community in this season that we are now in, this hurricane season. So again, I would like to thank Mr. Cash, Wade Cash, the local government members, and all who assisted in the removal, the demolition and the removal of that building. Its removal clears the path for a new infrastructure that will better meet the needs of today's residents and future generations. In Grand Key, we have commissioned a brand new fisheries vessel to support the development of marine resources. This strategic investment strengthens our marine economy, enhancing food security and promotes long-term sustainability within the fishing industry. And perhaps one of the most exciting community-led initiatives, the launch of school-based chicken coop projects. This program provides students with hands-on experience in agriculture, sustainability, and entrepreneurship. It's a small project with a big impact, shaping minds and planting the seeds of self-sufficiency. Thank you, Senator Will, in his absence. Mr. Deputy Speaker, alongside these community initiatives, our commitment to educate and skill training remains steadfast. I am proud and excited to highlight the recent opening of a new Technical and Vocational Institute, BTVI, campus here in Abaco. This expansion brings accessibility to high-quality vocational training closer to home for our young people. It is more than just infrastructure. It is a pathway to opportunity, equipping students with certification and hands-on experience, essential for today's workforce. Under the steadfast guidance of this administration, investments like these demonstrate our unwavering commitment to equipping the next generation of Bahamians with the skills for meaningful careers, ensuring that North Abaco's youth are empowered to actively contribute and to share in our nation's progress. Thank you, I'm listening. Mr. Deputy Speaker, I must take a moment to commend the visionary leadership of our Prime Minister. Bahamians at large, I would like for you to take a moment to hear this. The Honorable Philip Edward Davis championed the Land Reform Bill, a transformative piece of legislation that strikes at the heart of generational inequality. For far too long, I think it was in the conclave that the Prime Minister expressed that there was a white paper tables in 1960, and it was left there. For far too long, countless Bahamians have lived on land passed down without clear titles, unable to fully unlock its economic potential. This bill is not just a policy, it is a promise fulfilled. It brings long overdue clarity, dignity, and legal empowerment to families across our nation. In North Abaco, where land matters are deeply personal and historically complex, this reform offers real hope. Under the PLP government, we are not just talking about ownership, we are delivering it. Mr. Deputy Speaker, in any healthy democracy, different views are and even criticism are not just expected, they are essential. That's the nature of public service. Yes, there are concerns raised about the pace of development. And I understand those concerns. But the meaningful progress North Abaco needs doesn't happen overnight. It requires vision, thoughtful planning, and the courage to follow through. That is exactly what we are doing. We have seen real efforts underway, from the repairs and expansion of critical infrastructure to improvements in public service and the creation of new opportunities for our young people. These may not always make headlines, but they are real. They are ongoing, and they matter to the people on the ground. Take, for instance, the breakfast program, often spoken of like casual and watered down by the opposition. It's an initiative that today ensures that thousands of our children start their day with a hot, nutritious meal.
Yes.
Of course, we heard it again today. The concept wasn't new. Others have spoken of it before, but we acted.
We make it happen.
We got it done. And guess what? Regardless, it is working. It is appreciated by many. Helping students concentrate in class and ease the burden on struggling families is a government's mandate. And yes, they criticize. They criticize us. Not enough. We should be ashamed. We didn't go far enough. On and on is the criticism. But they did nothing.
Nothing.
They did nothing with their own food program.
Yeah. Zero.
Nothing.
Zero.
It was a dream left there. We have seen this pattern before, though. We have seen it. Whether it was raising the minimum wage, or strengthening public service and institutions, or investing in renewable energy, bold steps are often met with resistance. But
right.
leadership means standing firm in the face of doubt and doing what's right.
We got that.
Not what is easy. Not what is easy. So yes, criticism will come. That is a part of the job. But we will not be deterred. We will keep working. We will stay focused on what truly matters, the people, the progress, and the purpose. Because while the road is long, we are walking with intention. And even if every step isn't perfect, we are moving in the right direction. Because we are moving for the right reasons. Mr. Deputy Speaker, these efforts reflect leadership grounded in service, not just slogans. They are building blocks, not finish lines. And they form the foundation for a stronger, more resilient North Abaco. Under this New Day administration, Changes is not just a promise. It is a process. We are delivering with purpose. We don't claim perfection. Mr. Deputy Speaker, every member of the government stands, and we don't brag or boast of our achievement. We are reporting of our accomplishment, of our work. And we are proud of it. And in reporting, we celebrate it, we bang on the table, not for completion. We recognize that once you have the poor with you, you'll always have needs. So it might stun you that we can stand here and celebrate the amount of achievements we have. But we are far from the belief that our work is completed.
Yeah, you're right.
We know the work has just begun.
Good point. Good point.
But we stand by our commitment to getting the work done.
Yes, sir.
Because the people of North Abaco deserve nothing less than consistent, compassionate, and competent leadership. But let me speak plainly. Plainly, Deputy Speaker. I know we are not where we want to be yet. While progress is being made, I am fully aware, and I am deeply respectful of the fact that many in our communities are still waiting for their turn. Nearly 5 years after Hurricane Dorian, many families are still living with its scars. Those families are not forgotten, though. No. They are my neighbors. They are my responsibility.
Yes, sir.
And they placed their trust in me. Yeah. And I have not taken that trust for granted. I hear them, I see them, and I remain committed to them. We must do more to support those still rebuilding, to open doors for our youth, and to complete the work we have started in our settlements. Because for many, this isn't just about progress. It's about fairness, dignity, and long overdue justice. Mr. Deputy Speaker, are we listening to the men that went up with Joshua and Caleb, who said, "We be not able to go up against the people, for they are stronger than we"? Or are we listening to Caleb, who said, "Let us go up at once"? Instantly, let's go, no hesitation, and possess the land. For we are well able to overcome it.
That's right.
This is the land our God has promised us. Bahamas, we must be wise whose report we choose to listen to. Mr. Deputy Speaker, I am a proud PLP. I am proud of the PLP. Our country, the Bahamas, was built on the PLP success, and it continues to be. The PLP established one man, one vote, women rights to vote, independence, Royal Bahamas Defense Force, National Insurance, the Public Health Authority, College of the Bahamas, now University of the Bahamas. Deputy Speaker, I'll go on and on. But I am especially proud of this PLP administration. We are not a woulda, coulda, shoulda administration.
Okay, all right.
We amended the Evidence Act. Let me explain that. When the former administration had the opportunity to show love and care for the victims of Hurricane Dorian,
They didn't.
get into that too.
They refused. Sound bites.
They didn't show that love that we needed.
Right.
We are witness to what they did and how they treated Abaconians.
Yeah.
We saw it all.
And I will get into some of that. I'm going Bahamians. I will get into some of that in a minute. But when this administration came into power, this PLP administration, under the leadership of the Prime Minister,
What did we do?
he knew that persons would have lost their families and would not have had access. We knew that they wouldn't have had access to whatever that family member would have left behind.
Compassion.
And the Evidence Act specified that 7 years
Well, we knew 2 years would have already passed, so we amended the law to 2 years, giving them family access. You see, you could casually speak about that, but if you are one of those mothers or fathers who was in that position, who said to me, I had to choose between my son or my daughter, which hand to turn loose, and Dorian, I never saw it again. When they were now finally able to access those that's a government who cares. So when we bang on these tables, get used to we bang with passion because we cares. This administration, we increased minimum wage. We increased old age pension. My God, for the senior among us, those who are ready, whose shoulders we stand on.
Not for the select few.
And we even had, during the debate, there was some little woulda, coulda, coulda, and shoulda. But we were focused, we got it done.
Not for the select few. Let him know, not for the select few.
Watch this. We decrease what?
Not for the select few.
We decrease value-added tax. And again, they make this sound like they scream for the poor. They scream for the poor. But it's the poor who's benefiting from the decrease.
Not the select few. That's the Bay Street Boys. Not the select few. Then Barnabas.
Right there. We demolished unregulated homes. That's right. That others turned their head at. We built houses. Houses you can actually see and touch. Not these houses what we keep hearing about, but the ones you can actually touch. We are upgrading and improving power grids throughout the Commonwealth of the Bahamas.
Don't stop, brother. Preach.
Reducing costs and providing sustainable power.
Yes.
We are repairing roads throughout the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. We have signed countless industrial agreements.
Yes.
I remember when I was a part of Water and Sewage, our request for agreement, we ended up in court. What? The request for industrial agreement.
Who was the government? Who was the government?
Busa Wu, the Bahamas Utility Service.
Who was the government?
Oh, forgive me. That was the Free National Movement.
Okay.
It was the Free National Movement. For asking for agreement.
Put you all in court.
But thank God we were under the steady and capable hand of the President Dorian Woods. That one man took on the whole government, and I applaud him for that. We are hiring in the public service. All across the public service we are hiring. We are making persons P&P. We are promoting them. We are paying their back pays.
Yes.
And
Because we care.
we open schools across the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. Well, as a matter of fact, my bad, we opened the country.
That's right.
Because they had that shut down. And again, we are feeding our kids. You want to give God some glory, to God be the glory for that.
Yeah.
We are feeding our kids. We are signing heads of agreement. We did one for Treasure Key, for the redevelopment of Treasure Key.
Expansion.
We repaired the Cephas Cooper Highway in Grand Key. We cleaned and managed dump sites. Completed government contract. Completed government complex.
Exceptional governance.
Corrected unpleasant odor in water supply. Repaired government dock in Crown Haven, where the ferry comes twice a day. Repaired bathroom block at Green Tail Key Ferry. I also have good news for Green Tail Key. The minister told me that the loading dock, shortly, this contract should be signed. Put up for tender, should be put up for tender. We get that right. The contract will be put up for tender very soon. Of course, I got assistance with the demolishing of the old post office in Green Tail Key, and I have been promised by the residents they're going to assist me with raising funds to replace it. We repaired Murphytown Softball Park. We have some good news about the track, Prime Minister. I'll leave that for you to announce. Murphytown, the track.
It's a two-straight speech. Yes, sir.
Both members of Parliament, we've been assisting with the fires in Abaco.
Yes, sir.
Repaired Dundastown and Murphytown Basketball Park.
Overtime.
Listen,
Overtime.
if I continue to say what we are doing, I wouldn't get the chance to get to where I would really, really like to get. So I'll just say, just to name a few. Just to name a few. Just to name a few.
Yes, sir.
Things getting done.
What an awesome, incredible job this administration is doing.
UBP boys.
Now,
UBP.
please permit me to get to the Free National Movement,
Yeah.
The UBP.
the former administration, and their delusional interpretation of what a government they was or who they are.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Their time in office, the very beginning was a disaster.
I wouldn't talk about what's going on, but they do.
It was the big one. Yeah, the pine. They had to come out and admit that the VAT money was not lost or stolen, whatever they said. That was they start off saying they find the VAT money. They start off finding the VAT money.
That's the playbook, you know. That's the playbook. That's the playbook.
Now, I don't know about you. What's your door? Mrs. Princess? I don't know about St. Barnabas, but can you lift that door again? Let me see if any leg on that, because I don't have no money for this walk. But you'll find the VAT money. You'll find the VAT money. Anybody remember the Oban deal? Yeah. They continue to tout us about the Lucayan deal. Anybody remember the Oban deal? Did you all ever find the files?
No, never find the files.
Anybody can remember the Oban deal? They like to speak about what? But the truth is, what was the effing baby that was introduced to the Bahamas by Hubert Alexander Ingram? It was at 14%. I will allow you because I understand. Go ahead.
The chair recognizes the honorable member for St. Barnabas.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Just to be clear for the Bahamian people, that was implemented by the
I didn't say it was
PLP
implemented.
administration. Just to be clear.
It was conceived.
We didn't say that. VAT was implemented.
Order, members.
Yeah, please, thank you. To be clear, VAT was implemented by the Progressive Liberal Party in 2015. So concept is one thing. You know, y'all keep on talking about concept. Concept is one thing, but y'all executed. PLP introduced VAT, implemented VAT.
Thank you, St. Barnabas. I appreciate that.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Taught me in school is to pay attention because the English language is a living language. I said introduce, he said implemented. If you allow me, let me explain that, because I intended to. I understood you would. I know, I intended to. It was introduced by the FNN administration at 14%. However, it was implemented by the Progressive Liberal Party at 7.5%. If you allow me.
So they're trying to kill us.
Yeah, if you allow me.
They're trying to kill us.
Again.
14%? Jesus.
If they had conceived the baby, it was been at 14%.
What?
It took the PLP with compassion and love and care to say, listen, I'll do it at 7.5.
Yeah. Wow.
Lazy.
14?
Wait. Some UBP boys.
14?
UBP. No, he was down.
And
He agreed.
it doesn't get no better, you know. And,
You're 14 on bread basket item too?
and for the record, this is long before Hurricane Dorian and the lockdowns. This is when they were first elected, 2 years before. And it gets worse.
Worse?
They fired a Bahamian female from the board of BPL.
And she was their people, right?
A female.
They're gone. Never get her back.
Fire woman.
I recall reading from the minister at the time. He was concerned about her getting her nails and hair done. I wouldn't get into that. I wouldn't get into that.
Wow.
I wouldn't get into that. I don't know if they expect us to come to work looking like we just come out of a machine.
I'll be the woman now. Oh, Lord.
Anyone here remember the secret contract involving the post office by Town Center Mall? Anybody remember the firing of thousands of Bahamians from the draw program?
For no reason. For no reason from the rally stage. For no reason.
I know Elizabeth remember the fire at BPL. I'm sure we remember the fire at BPL.
They don't care about us.
And watch this.
Take your time.
Point of order? No.
Take your time.
I think so.
Take
I
your
want to make a point of order on this
You have
one.
plenty of time. Take your time.
In the voices of our time, I'm a few years old. But in the voices of our time, we would have lost loved ones,
You've earned it.
property, possession. We would have. I've looked in my father's eye and nothing was there when I returned after Dorian. Nothing was there. You know what the FNN did to those poor persons who just endured that storm?
What they did?
They charged them to evacuate them off of Abaco. They sent Bahamas there and charged those people.
They heartless. They heartless.
UBP all over again.
To evacuate them.
Come on, St. Barnabas, say something.
I can get a point of order right now. You know what they did with our? You know what they did with the remains of our loved ones after Dorian?
What they did?
They stored them in a trailer and allowed them to rot.
Wow.
Yeah, that's what they did.
Wow.
Yeah. They stored them in a trailer, the remains of our loved ones. They piled them up in a trailer and they allowed them to rot.
Wow.
There were days when
They didn't even care for the dead.
the freezer was working and there were days when it wasn't working.
They didn't care for the dead. Jeez.
Yeah. And if that wasn't enough, they decided, look, let's just have a mass burial and just dump them in a hole.
Wow.
We never forget.
Wow.
UBP.
And who could ever forget the inhumane and cruel lockdowns? Can you imagine? I just lost my house to Dorian. The roof is damaged, the bill, everything, all the rock sheet fall down, everything is wet. And you could lock me down in that house? You could tell me I can't leave that?
Even the exercise.
That's what they did to us. But I was asked, I was asked just to remind, the opposition now is the former administration, to remind them. Abaco has not forgotten.
Yeah.
We haven't forgotten.
In marketing, they're trying to rebrand. In marketing, they're trying to rebrand.
It's okay. You see, it's okay to keep talking about you care and you, the poor people and this people and our people. But your action, your behavior, what speaks.
Check the legislation.
What you did for them, they will never forget that. And my name is Kirk Cornish.
And I approve this message.
The Honorable Kirk Cornish.
And I approve this.
But I say that to say, as we all fully aware in this country that Hubert Alexander Ingram, mother was a Cornish. And he was the former Prime Minister and the leader of the FNN. So I am not trying to be political about this. Because if they keep pushing you. Because the people we talk about, these are my family. And these persons had so much hope and expectation. And again, the Prime Minister, now Prime Minister, as the Deputy Prime Minister under Perry administration, I'm just thinking they spoiled Abaconians. Because under both of them, when there was a storm, they came and built us houses. They rescued us. We waited for days.
Wow.
And they charged us to take us off the island.
There's a difference. There's a difference.
They don't care. They don't care. They don't care.
They pump fake in, man. They don't care.
Come on, St. Barnabas. Come on, St. Barnabas.
How you get like this?
Come on,
How
St.
you get like
Barnabas.
this? How they get like this?
Well, I will permit them then, because what I will do now, Mr. Deputy Speaker, the road ahead remains challenging. But my belief in the people of North Abaco and in the government's mission has not wavered.
Yes, sir. Remember the mission.
The numbers may tell part of the story,
Yes, sir.
but the real testimony is in the lives of the people we serve.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
As their representatives, I will continue to carry their voice and advocate for their needs. Progress is not just a policy goal. It is a personal responsibility. And I intend to fulfill that responsibility with integrity, energy, and with heart.
Wow.
Not the heart, soul, and kidney what the former leader was talking about, but real heart. Real heart. North Abaco deserves to be seen, to be heard, and to be prioritized.
Yes, sir.
And I will not rest until that promise becomes a reality,
Reality, yes.
for every man, woman, and child in my constituency.
Too straight.
Deputy Speaker,
Sir, gotta say it.
I was once told, you know what you get,
You know what
but
you
you don't know what you're getting.
Yeah.
Sir, don't apologize.
When you think you have it bad, someone else has it worse.
Don't need to swing at us
Bahamians, I will say this again.
this time. Don't need to swing at us this
Be
time.
careful whose report you choose to believe. Mr. Deputy Speaker,
Yes, sir.
I would like to thank you for this opportunity, sir. North Abaco thanks you. And North Abaco supports the fiscal budget. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Member. As many, the Chair recognizes the Honorable Member for Central and South Eleuthera.
Mr. Deputy, I'd like to reserve my spot.
Thank you, Honorable Member. As many, the Chair recognizes the Honorable Member for Freetown.
Mr. Deputy Speaker, due to an unforeseen circumstance, I would ask that the House do now stand suspended to Wednesday, the 11th of June at 10 a.m.
Elizabeth, thank you. It has been moved and seconded that the business of the House stand suspended until tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. As many as are in favor will remain seated. Those opposed will stand. The motion is carried. The business of the House stands suspended until tomorrow at 10 a.m.